Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good times, good fun, good life, good food, good drink. Good Lord, let's eat. All right. Thanks for being here. Daniel, happy Sunday to you. Jay, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Um, let's not start with that today, Jay. Let's expect the opposite today. Today's opposite day. Yes, actually yesterday was opposite day for the Astros to get whipped so badly when we have our best guy on the mound basically by a guy who's supposed to be their worst guy, one of the worst in the MLB. That's opposite day. Today we're going to be fine, no problem. Death Before Dishonor, welcome from San Antonio. Man, I'd really love to be in San Antonio. I've always wanted to visit San Antonio. I don't know if you heard me say this a while back, but I used to have a driving job a long time ago, and I spent a lot of evening and nighttime driving on the road. During that time, the only games that I could listen to were the San Antonio Spurs games, and that was back when they had all the really good players, and they were doing really well. They were a dynasty. And while I was listening to that, I heard a lot about San Antonio and some of the popular places there, and it just made me really want to visit. I still haven't. To this day, I still haven't, but, maybe one of these days. Ugly loss, win, ugly loss. Yeah, it seems like we don't really have the pretty losses, right? I mean, is it possible to have a pretty... I guess it's possible. They are showing some Altuve highlights. How he is still the man. That's the message on the screen. Altuve, still the man. Man, I love these Japanese commercials. This is a really cool motorcycle center. The Triumph store. Actually, here in Geaux, about 45 minutes from here, there's a Harley Davidson store. I know it sounds crazy because I live in the countryside, but only 45 minutes from here, there's a Harley Davidson store. And I don't know how it is where you guys and gals live, but here in Japan, they will often have these types of stores, these motorcycle shops, even like the Harley Davidson shop, in these small towns, these small cities, because this area here is very popular for motorcyclists to drive through. This particular road right here, I always see cars, caravans, tour buses, and motorcycles ride by my house. And that's another one of the reasons why I really am looking forward to Christmas this year, because I get the outside of my house looking pretty nice and stuff. Then I want to put up some Christmas lights and stuff and decorate the tree. I've got a big tree out in the front. So whenever all of these people are driving by, taking their road trips, from the road, they will see this huge house with Christmas lights. That'll be absolutely nothing like it in Japan. I'm telling you, there's nothing like that in Japan. In America, yes, you've got houses decorated with Christmas lights, but in Japan, you have to go into the city. You go into the city and the stores and just in the parks and in the Christmas markets and things like that, and on the trees and things like that, in the just around the city, you'll see a lot of Christmas lights. But houses, almost no Christmas lights. It's not a thing here. People might have a little bit of decoration, and they, some people do. Some people do have a little bit of decoration, but they put up like one string of lights, or something like that, and it's just every house out of like one house out of every 100 houses or something like that. Jay, yes they do. Christmas is definitely celebrated in Japan, but there are some key differences. And here's the main thing: Christmas in Japan and in Asia in general. I would say in East Asia, like China and Japan, Christmas is a day for romance and for children. That's it. And you might think, oh, so they put up a tree and they put gifts under the tree and stuff like that. No, some families do, but like I said, it's few and far between the amount of families that actually do the full Christmas thing where they put up a Christmas tree with lots of gifts underneath it and decorate the house and stuff like that. Most Japanese are not going to do that at all, but there are a couple of things they will do. First of all, it's not a holiday. It's not a national holiday, so if it's a work day, you got to go to work. Second of all, what most Japanese actually do on Christmas Day is they give some little gifts to the children. Children do expect to get something for Christmas, so they will typically get something. So that's very common in Japan. The other thing is that for single people, it's like a romantic day. It's a day to go out on a date. It's kind of like a second or maybe third Valentine's Day. If you want to know what is the second Valentine's Day, because it's because there are two different days for Valentine's Day, basically in Japan and in Korea and in several Asian countries, where basically you have like the guy has his Valentine's Day and the girls, or the guys, and then the girls have their Valentine's Day on a different day. So one particular day, the girls give stuff to the guys, and on the other Valentine's Day, the guys give stuff to the girls. I think that's wonderful, because in America, Valentine's Day, or in the West, you could even say, Valentine's Day has just become a girl thing. Because if you don't get something for her, she blows up, but guys typically don't care about getting anything on Valentine's Day. But here in Asia, it's quite different. They have like what's called White Day. But the point is, they have two separate Valentine's Day. Guys get, and then girls get. And Christmas is kind of like a third Valentine's Day in a way. That's the way I look at it, for singles to go out and have dinner together and have a romantic date. And but they like to get Christmas cake and fried chicken on Christmas Day. But as far as married couples, typically it's not a thing. They just give some gifts if they got some kids, and that's it. That's right, KFC. Yeah, you're right, Chris. But KFC is the most popular because they started it. They literally started the Christmas chicken thing in Japan. But all of the convenience stores sell fried chicken also, and if it's a particularly busy location, they will actually set up kind of a kiosk and a tent outside and cook outside so that they can keep up with the amount of orders. People will typically pre-order their fried chicken so that they can get it. If you wait until the day of Christmas to get fried chicken, you'll have to accept what you can get. So it's better to order. Same thing with Christmas cake. You order your Christmas cake in advance. You order your fried chicken in advance, and on Christmas Day, you just go pick it up. But it is a work day. If it's on a Monday through Friday, it's a work day. So you're going to go to work, and you're going to do your work and all that stuff, and you'll finish work on your regular time. And then after that, you can go pick up your Christmas cake, your Christmas fried chicken, go home with your family and have that. Maybe give a few little gifts to your kids. And if you're single, you'll go out on a date, have a romantic date. And that's pretty much what Christmas is. But here they have what's called Illuminations. In the U.S., we might say these are Christmas lights because we pretty much exclusively associate those lights with Christmas. But in Japan, maybe starting in October, you start seeing some LED lights and Christmas-style lights pop up everywhere all over the city. And they call those Illuminations. They're not called Christmas lights. They call them just Illuminations. Kentucky Fried Christmas, indeed, Texas Dave. Yes, it is. Angel, Men of Culture. Yes, indeed, we are back here, and we've got our stuff together today. I certainly hope so. Jackson Holiday's leading it off again for the O's. And Mr. Jason Alexander is on the mound for the Astros. Let's see if he can be the master today like he was in New York. Altuve's DH again today, so he will not be in the field. Correa's on third base. Diaz is catching. First pitch is on the way. Just barely below the zone. 91-mile-per-hour stinker. Ball one. Just barely below there. Urias is on second. Cam is in right field. Dubon is at shortstop. McCormick in left. Here's the second pitch. Outside, 92 miles an hour. 2-0 to Holiday. Jacob Melton is in center field today. I am really, really looking forward to Jake Myers coming back and seeing him out there. Here's the 2-0. That's in the zone, and he swings at it and sends it into left center, but it's going to be caught by Jacob Melton. One down. Jacob Melton, are you Blade Rogers? I should clip that and play it anytime Melton does something interesting. Are you Blade Rogers? So any fried chicken? Yeah, there's lots of fried chicken. There's too much fried chicken, actually. 92 miles an hour in there for strike one to Jordan Westberg, the second batter. One down, nobody on here in the top of the first. Next toss on the way. 79-mile-per-hour Swiffer. A little too far outside. I must admit that I did myself all sorts of right ways today with my coffee. It is really tasting good. Just as good as that pitch. 92 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone. Strike two. The count is 1-2. So far, Alexander putting it in the zone. Here's a 1-2. Ooh, nice change up, but he didn't go for it. Low and outside, 2-2. Death before dishonor. You are right, sir. Great day to extend our division lead. Yes, it is. Indeed, it is. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Look at that. The change up. Another beautiful change up. This time he put it in the zone, and he couldn't get the bat on it. Strikeout number one and out number two for Mr. Alexander. Look at this. Boom. That brings up Gunnar Henderson. 81 miles an hour starts him off with a changeup right in the bottom left corner of the zone for strike one. Oh, and 1. Here comes the pitch. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hey, Brendan. Welcome back. I appreciate everyone liking the live stream early on. The more the merrier. Let's get it pumped up. This is hit straight to Dubon at short, and he throws it over to first base. How about that? 10 pitches. Top of the first is done. Alexander looking stellar in the first inning. We go into the bottom of the second. No hits, no errors, no nothing. Astros due up. Let's take a look at the Astros lineup. Starting with Carlos Correa, Mr. South Korea himself. He's leading it off for the Astros. Followed by Jose Altuve, who's DH today again. Have you guys noticed that Altuve has been pretty much like 90% DH over the past 10 games or so? Pretty amazing. Yainer Diaz is batting third today. I was kind of hoping that they would break him up with Walker again. Since they moved Diaz into third, I thought maybe they would put Walker fifth. But unfortunately, they have Walker batting cleanup in the fourth spot. Ramon Urias batting fifth. Cam Smith moves up, batting sixth. Mauricio Dumont batting seventh. Chas McCormick batting eighth. And then Jacob Melton wrapping it all up in the power position at 9th, batting an even 200 for the season. There's Correa. I love seeing Correa and Altuve standing together like that. I love it. I want a poster of that. I want a big picture of that on my wall. Correa and Altuve standing on deck as Altuve rubs his bat up. Sand it up, baby. Rico Garcia is on the mound for the Birds today. 17 innings pitched. It's only his second start, actually, in the MLB. Pretty interesting. Here's the first pitch to Correa. 97 in the bottom of the zone, strike one. So he's got a little bit of heat. There comes the pitch. There we go. Oh, man, I thought that was through for sure. Opposite field line drive, but right at the first baseman. I thought for sure that was going to be through, but it was caught. The line drive out, number one. And my hero, I've got his jersey on right now. You can't see it, but on the back, trust me, it says Altuve. First pitch from Garcia on the way. Woo, just a little above the zone, called a strike. Death before dishonor, welcome to the membership crew. Go ahead and use those emojis. A little outside the slider, not tricking Altuve. 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, it was almost an oppo. It was a nice line drive. Correa's pretty good at that, but they had that hole pretty covered that time. They didn't leave a huge gap. Altuve swings at that one. That was a curveball in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The only thing that's missing from my jersey is I didn't get the number on the front of my jersey. I don't know why. I don't know why that Altuve's number wasn't on my jersey right here in the front. This is bounce foul down the third base side. The count remains 1-2. Death before dishonor just joined as a Voyager cadet. That would be a level 1 or tier 1. There are 3 tiers on my memberships. For any of those who are interested in seeing my members only videos and using my custom emojis in the chat, memberships are super cheap. Trust me. Just take a look at them. It's a monthly fee, but it's super low. It's really low. It's almost nothing. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Altuve. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. In the dirt. That curveball didn't even make it. Altuve goes running out there and grabs it and throws it over the ball boy. You can't tell me that Altuve's not the most humble guy out on the field. God, I love Altuve. Oreos have a play YouTube channel called Bird Watchers. Oh, yeah. Well, I know that guy a little bit. I don't know him in real life, but he inspired me to start my channel. 88 miles an hour, strike 3. Altuve goes down. He thought he'd have a walk there, but it was a strike clearly in the top of the zone. Man, Altuve was trying so hard to get on base there that he let the pitch go, and that's a strikeout. That was an unfortunate result. But yeah, Orioles Birdwatcher is his name. The guy I'm talking about is Orioles Birdwatcher. Next batter is Yainer Diaz. Let's see if Yainer can get himself a hit. First pitch is in the dirt. Lots of pitches in the dirt by Garcia. Garcia versus Diaz. Buena suerte. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Fouls it off. 97 in the top of the zone. Hey, Casey, welcome in. Got my drink, got my snack. Casey, what's your drink and snack today? I know most of you are probably going to be like, what? But my snack this morning was grass-fed butter. I'm not joking, by the way. He hits this one high in the air, and that's going to be fouled out of play. 1-2. And my drink, of course, is a nice cup of coffee. This first cup was so good. As soon as this inning is over, I'm going to pour myself a second one. It was too delicious not to try a second round. Here's the 1-2 pitch in the dirt again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, if the Astros can just kind of foul off those strikes, he'll definitely walk them. He keeps putting these curveballs in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nobody on. Here's the pitch to Diaz. Opposite field, there we go. There's a hit. Diaz comes through where Correa missed. Yiner gives him a little shiner. A little shiner. Outside fastball. Good strike by Yiner. Roll with it, baby. Blue Moon. Blue Moon. You know, you can get Blue Moon over here in some places. There's a liquor store here. I think it's called Yamada. It's a big store, and they have all sorts of import beers and stuff, and I believe I can get Blue Moon there. 96 in the top of the zone, swing and a miss by Walker, who's now at the plate. Yiner on first base. How wonderful would it be for Walker to pay a little visit to the Crawford boxes right here in the first inning? Here comes the toss. Fouls it off, 88-mile-per-hour slider, and it's 0-2. Slice of orange, air-fried spring rolls with yum-yum sauce. That sounds oishii. Do you know this word? You guys should learn this word because it's a fun word. Oishii, oishii. This means yummy. Oishii. Here's the pitch. Outside. 1-2 to Walker. I had a friend back in Shreveport who was addicted to Blue Moon. He loved it. It was his favorite. It's not bad stuff. It's popular for a reason. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Walker. Diaz on first. Here's the toss. A little high and outside, 98. He tried to get that upper corner like he did on Altuve, or that upper part of the zone, but he missed it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Death before dishonor. We didn't have to wait 8 innings for them to squeak out a hit. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Walker taps that one on the left side. It's going to be an infield hit for sure. Look at that. That was like a perfect bunt. Walker is on with that little tapper, a little tap, tap, taparoo, little tap, tap, tappy. Right off the plate, basically. There was no chance for them to get him at first base. The pitcher picked it up, but by the time he got there, there was no play. That's 2 hits. We got runners on first and second with Ramon Urias. Now, will Urias, for the second day in a row, be the one to do some damage to his ex-team? Christian Sprinter. Christian Tapper. Yes, it is. It's already better than yesterday. Outside in the dirt again. The slider. Even his sliders are getting into the dirt. Any of his breaking pitches, all of Garcia's breaking pitches, he's throwing them in the dirt a lot. But Brendan's right. This game is already better than yesterday. Right off the bat. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. 1 ball, no strikes. 20 pitches for Garcia. They're making him work. Here's the second pitch to Urias. He doesn't swing. They say he did not go. And that is ball 2. Are we going to see bases loaded with Cam Smith or a nice hit with a scored run with Urias? Let's see. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's hit hard to left field. Oh, it's going to float. It's going to float. Caught by Carlson for out number 3. But the Astros do get a couple of late hits. It's unfortunate because Correa had that really good line drive that just didn't get through. Otherwise, Astros might have been able to do something. Altuve took that strike 3 looking. If he had just fouled it off, maybe he'd have gotten a walk after that. You think about how different this inning could have been if Correa had gotten on with a single, if Altuve had walked. We'd have guys on first and second. And then that single by Yiner, we might have scored a run, but if not, we'd had bases loaded with no outs. And then that infield tap. It's possible they could have gotten an out at home, but maybe not. Depends on if Correa saw it in time or not. But it's highly possible we would have had bases loaded and scored a run. Probable, actually. 2 hits for the Astros, but no runs scored. It's 0-0 going into the top of the second. Yeah, Brendan, it did. Off the bat, it looked like it could have been, but it was one of those trickery hits. Let me grab my hot water. It's time for coffee round 2. Alexander will be back on the mound in just a moment, facing Adley Rutschman. You know, if I could get... Oh, that's the first pitch. They were so busy showing graphics on the screen, I didn't realize that a pitch was coming. 1-0 is the count to Rutschman. Here comes the next pitch. That's on the outside edge. Good toss. First pitch missed a little bit. Second pitch is right in. 92 miles an hour. 1-1 is the count. If I could get my memberships up to 50% of my subscriptions, that would be awesome. Little hopper over to second base, and Urias throws it over. Rutschman goes down. Mountcastle due up. 4 down, 4 up and 4 down for Alexander so far in this game. Maybe today Alexander pitches a complete game. What? You guys want to place a bet on that? Alexander goes 9 innings. Complete perfect game. How awesome would that be? To come back after yesterday. What are the odds of that? That's a strike. The Swiffer, 80 miles an hour, strike 1 against Mountcastle. Here comes the next toss. That's ripped foul down the third baseline. Strike 2, 0-2. Come on there, Mr. Alexander. Here's the 0-2. He shakes off a few from Yiner. Finally gets what he wants. Here it comes. Whoa, way high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I guess he wanted to buzz it into the top of the zone, but he missed by a good 1.5 feet at least. Next pitch. Ooh! Hit him right in the waist area. Mountcastle will go to first base. So much for the perfect game. Hit him in a delicate spot right there. Almost. Got him in the upper thigh. Diaz immediately checked on him to make sure he was okay. So, Mountcastle's on first base with a hit by pitch. That's the first wild pitch by Alexander. Next pitch is in the bottom of the zone for strike 1. Dylan Beavers. That's right, Dylan Beavers is at the plate. This is his major league debut. 304 average in AAA. Strike 2. Change up in the bottom of the zone. 0-2 is the count against Mr. Beavers. Alexander just now getting to 20 pitches. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss. Nice. Look at that. First Major League at bat. Strikes out on 3 pitches. Takes 2. Swing and a miss on that last one. Beautiful. Nice change up to get that strikeout. Alexander showing him some trick or two. Here comes the first pitch to Kobe Mayo. Or is it Mayo? Mayonnaise. Strike 1. Runner on first with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Ooh, nice. 0-2. Lower outside corner. Look at the placement on that. Boom, baby. Doesn't get any better than that. Is he going to get himself another K right here? Nope, in the dirt. The change up there missing the mark. 1 ball, 2 strikes. How many people do we have watching right now? About 63, is that right? I'll have to update the screen and see. I'll have to reload it. Low and outside, almost in the dirt again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Let me reload that and see how many people we have watching right now. Yeah, 63 is correct. Kind of a low count, but it's early in the game. 25 likes, that's not bad. We can get that up to 30 pretty easily, though. This is hit right up the middle. It's going to be a tapper for Urias, and he gets the 3rd out right there. Nice play. So other than the hit by pitch, Alexander has a nice game going on. No hits allowed so far. Astros due up Cam Smith, Mauricio Dubon, and Chas McCormick. Let's see here. I'm interested to see which player do you believe will most impact the Astros positively towards the end of the year. How about that? Now, some people might say, oh, Yordan's never going to come back. You know, he's not going to affect. But some people, you know, they believe that he's going to make it back. But whether he does or doesn't and how much he affects the team, that's debatable. But I'm going to put him on this list. And I'm going to add a few others. Let's see. Let's see. Who else should I put on this list? Now we've already got... I want to put some guys on here that are not back. Not back yet. Let's see here. Cam Smith is at the plate, takes that first pitch, low and inside for strike 1. Little fastball. Here comes the next pitch from Garcia. Oh, no, that's not Garcia. Garcia's out of the game. Got a new pitcher on the mound. I was about to say, wait a second, he's pitching. That's Cade Povich. I guess this is a bullpen game for the Orioles. 4.95 ERA. 0-2 is the count to Cam Smith. Here comes the pitch. Low and outside, ball 1, 1-2. Let's see here. Cade Povich. Okay, here comes the next pitch. Fouled off by Cam Smith in the top of the zone. The count remains 1-2. One ball, two strikes. Here's the pitch. Bottom of the zone, below the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes on that changeup. Here's the toss. Fouled back. Here we go. Let's do that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Almost hit him. On this particular list, I wanted to list players that are not back yet. Just players who have not come back yet. But just for those of you who don't know this, hey, a walk. How about that on the full count? Cam Smith gets a walk. Good job. We got us a fast base runner, a leadoff fast base runner. For those of you who don't know this, recently, the recent pitching performance by Luis Garcia and J.P. France have been amazing. Did you know that? They've been really tearing it up in the minors recently. 93 in the top of the zone against Doobie. 0-1. Cam is on first base. Doobie at the plate with the 0-1 count, no outs. Fouled off, 93 miles an hour. It sails off into the crowd on the first base side. I just learned today that I can do custom alterations to my live chat so I can make it match the channel even more. That's pretty cool. Me likey. Here comes the next pitch. Ooh, up and in. Almost clipped him. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Doobie. Yeah, Jay, it seemed like it was going to be that way from the start. Up and in again. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Doobie. My second cup of coffee is ready. Is it hot enough? It's acceptable. Acceptable. Here's the 2-2 pitch. In the dirt. Smith is stealing second base. He's going to get in there. How about that? The ball in the dirt. Rutschman tried to run over and grab it. Made the throw to second, but by the time the ball got there, Cam was already on second base. No problem there. Runner on second with a full count. Come on, Doobie. He calls timeout, steps out of the box. Wow. Jake Myers listed at number 1 right now. I had kind of a feeling that some people would be voting for him primarily. Alvarez is still kind of a question mark, right? Fouled off. Count remains full to Doobie. I kind of feel like, let's say that Jordan and Myers both come back. There's still a question mark. We still don't know what kind of condition Alvarez is going to be in. But I think that Myers will likely be less affected with the batting. Right? 3-2 pitch. And it's hit up the middle for a base hit that's going to score a run. Cam Smith is rounding third. There's no throw there. RBI single for Mauricio Dubon. How about that? 1-0 Astros. 3 hits. Breaking ball right down the middle, and he puts it right through the middle. Just nice, smooth swing right through the gap between shortstop and second base and the pitcher. Perfectly placed. Cam Smith scores easily. That brings up the Tasmanian Devil. Here's the pitch. Ooh, 79-mile-per-hour curveball right in there for strike one. Yeah, they've been talking about that, Jay. Talking about coming back by the playoffs, but he should focus on healing, right? This is fouled off back into the crowd for strike two. 0-2. Already the Astros have 1 run and 3 hits. They've already performed better in less than 2 innings than they performed in the entire game yesterday at the plate. Here's the... Nope, he throws it over to first place. Dubon is back. Sweet Richard says, watch out for the Orioles next year. I don't know about that. It just depends on their young talent. If their young talent comes around, they could get lucky. You never know. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 for Chas McCormick. He strikes out on 3 pitches. Doobie on first base with 1 out. 1 run scored so far this inning, 1 hit. Jacob Melton is at the plate. Lefty on lefty. Here's the pitch. Little check swing foul ball. Strike 1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Melton. That was a nice looking curveball inside. Strike 2. Hey, Patrick. Welcome back. Yep, getting on base. Getting some feet on the home plate. 0-2 is the count to Melton with 1 out. Doobie on first. Let's get another run or 2, shall we? Here comes the pitch. He threw a Swiffer. Started off inside, went to the outside. Melton swung at it. Looking like Yainer Diaz. Striking out. That brings up Carlos Correa. Throw to first base. Dubon is back. 2 outs. Doobie on first. Correa at the plate. Let's go, Correa. Sarcastic Prodigy, thank you so much for that super chat. First pitch to Correa is high and outside for ball 1. Thank you, Prodigy-san. Opposite field. This time it gets through. Correa with a base hit to the right side. Doobie stops at second. He's not able to get to third. Right fielder was playing a little shallow there. 4 hits now for the Astros. We have runners on first and second. This is what I was hoping he would do on that line drive that last at bat. But he's able to get it right through there this time. I'm starting to wonder who's a better opposite field hitter. I think Correa is definitely better than Diaz, but Diaz does hit a lot of opposite field hits. I think that for Correa, though, it's more of a deliberate thing. With Diaz, it's just part of his swing. He naturally puts a lot of opposite field hits out there. But Correa sees a gap and he goes after it. Yes, he is. He is an oppo specialist. Diaz is kind of an oppo accidentalist. But I feel like when you watch Correa bat, it's like he's looking over there and he sets up his stance and he goes after it if he sees a gap. Altuve comes to the plate with 2 outs and 2 on. Could be a big hit right here for the Astros to blow up this game. That last bat was kind of a fluke. First pitch from Povich on the way. Altuve takes it a little outside and high for ball 1. Good call by the ump there. That was outside and high by about 1 inch. So it was a good call. 1-0. Here comes the next pitch. Outside again on the changeup, 2-0. "25 pitches now for Povich. He's working this inning. Here's a pitch. Outside again, 3-0. Yeah, they basically told him not to throw it in the zone. That's what I'm thinking. Throw it around the zone, get him to chase, but Altuve's not chasing anything. Povich is a young guy. He's facing a veteran right now. 3-0, here's the toss. Right on the outside edge, he gets that one. Altuve was taken all the way, 3-1. I think probably Altuve could just keep taking. He's going to get walked. I don't think that he's going to challenge him, but we'll see. Because they just had a meeting on the mound. That's in there, actually. Wow, I'm surprised. The changeup, 3-2. I'm really surprised. I think Altuve was surprised, too. He actually pitched it in the zone. Here comes the 3-2. Changeup, swing and a miss on the outside. That's the one he should have took. Povich gets lucky. The opening part of the count there, Altuve was all over it, and then he let him come back and get the strikeout. That number 13 you saw on the screen just now, that's Billy Wagner's number. His number has been retired for the Astros. They showed that earlier in the pregame. Astros strand a couple of runners. 4 hits to get 1 run. At the end of 2, it's 1-0 Stros. Jason Alexander will be back up in just a moment. He's averaging 13 pitches per inning with 16 strikes on 26 pitches. He'll be facing Daniel Johnson, followed by Dylan Carlson and Jackson Holliday. Yesterday and last night, the kind of day and the kind of evening I'd like to have often to even of course without the Astros loss, of course, but after the live stream is done, I did a lot of work around the house. The first thing I did was I made myself a really nice lunch. Maybe one of these days I'll post a picture so you guys and gals can see what I eat often. I'm doing kind of a carnivore style, high fat, lots of butter, eggs, bacon, hamburger meat, and sausage sometimes. Lots of protein, high fat, sometimes some lean protein, and grass-fed butter. First pitch is on the way, right in there to Daniel Johnson, strike 1 on the 90-mile-per-hour slider. Or is it? Oh, now they're chatting with Billy Wagner. Outside on the changeup, 1-1 is the count. Drinking some coffee, electrolyte drink with no sugar. Here's a pitch. Right in there, fouled back on the fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. Wow, look at that. Line drive, jumping catch by Doobie. The crowd approves. 1 down. Kerry Gold. I wouldn't mind having myself a hot toddy once the weather gets cold, but once again, I got to get my kidney better first. I'd rather the junk that's attached to my kidney, I got to get rid of it. Here's the first pitch to Dylan Carlson. Low and inside, strike 1. Good toss. But after my lunch, I spent a couple of hours outside cutting grass, cutting a ton of grass. Took a break, went to the restaurant. Low and inside, 2 balls and 1 strike to Carlson. I needed to go pick up some more trimmer line and some bug spray outside. He shows bunt, but pulls back, and that is ball 3. 3-1 is the count. But after I relaxed during the hottest part of the day, you know, around 3 o'clock, it's really hot. This is hit hard out into right center field. It could be a problem, and it is. Oh, Melton lays out for it, but can't get it. He's headed to third. Here's the throw. It's going to be a triple. Carlson easily gets to third base. Melton laid out for it. Let's see how close he came to getting it. That's a 1-out triple. First hit given up by Alexander, so no-hitter for Alexander today, but I'm not surprised. I mean, no-hitters are difficult to do, as we found out yesterday. Then are they not going to show that replay? Seriously? They're just going to show them talking with... We can hear Billy. We don't have to see him. I'd like to see that replay. Thank you. Come on now. Show the game. Here's the first pitch to Jackson Holliday. This is hit right back to Alexander, and they get the runner in the hot box. They get him out at first base. I mean, right there near home. Holliday goes to second. So why they get... they get Carlson in the old hot box. They eliminate the runner from third. But now Holliday is on second with 2 outs. I'd rather have somebody on second than somebody on third. Jordan Westberg at the plate. First pitch on the way. It's grounded right up the middle, but an easy play for Dubon, who fires it over to first base. Good job. I like that result. Orioles get a hit with a triple. I was really hoping that they would show a replay on that dive by Melton, but they were just so busy talking to Billy Wagner. That's not fun. I mean, we can still hear Billy Wagner. We can be talking to him and hear him and see a replay of that awesome effort by Jacob Melton, but they didn't show it. Talk about completely ridiculous. I don't think that it's being disrespectful by showing a replay. I mean, the primary reason we are here is to watch this game, right? We can hear Billy just fine. Show that awesome effort by Melton. That's right, Richard. Mariners lost indeed. The Astros have an opportunity to get that 1.5 game lead back. Right now we have a 1-game lead, right? We win this game, it'll be 1.5. We'll get it back. Get it back, baby. Let me go ahead and close that poll. I think it's been up long enough. So what did you guys and gals say? Which returner do you believe will most impact the Astros positively towards the end of the year? 34% say Yordan Alvarez. 30% say Jake Myers. 21% Luis Garcia. and 13% JP France. You know, I really do believe that Jake Myers will be an important returner. But seriously, I'm going to say this again for those of you who didn't hear it earlier. Recently, Luis Garcia and JP France have been looking freaking amazing in the minors. They have been tearing it up, just so you know. Yainer Diaz at the plate takes that first pitch in there for strike one. Oh, 1 pitch on the way. Diaz takes that in the dirt. 1-1 is the count. Good day to you, Fox at Bat. Good to see you. A little late, but already here. Okay, no big deal. Whether you're creeping or chatting, both are okay. Good to have you back. Yainer Diaz fouls this one off. 1-2 is the count with no outs. Yainer, the leadoff batter. What did you miss? Well, you missed. Jason Alexander has been having a good game. He gave up 1 triple, but then they got him out on the very next play. Swing and a miss. Foul tip. Strikeout by Diaz. 1 away. As far as the Astros scoring, Astros had a walk by Cam Smith. And then a wild pitch got him to second base. Doobie got a hit. Cam Smith scored. That's our 1 run. We stranded a couple of runners, but we did score. Christian Walker comes to the plate, and his very first pitch, he fouls it back, and it's going to be out of play, thankfully, by about 10 rows. Strike 1. %90 of the video they're showing right now is them talking with Billy Wagner. I'd like to see a little more of the game. As soon as they throw the pitch, they go right back to Billy Wagner. Swing and a miss by Walker. Maybe there's nothing to see with Walker at the plate. 2 strikes, no balls. 1 out, nobody on. Cade Povich on the mound. He's up to 34 pitches, 35. Should be with this pitch. 0-2 is the count to Christian Walker. Let's see if he can do something here. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Walker strikes out. Yep, nothing to see here. Move along. Ramon Urias comes to the plate. His last at bat, he had 2 runners on and an opportunity to move them around, and he did not. Both Altuve and Urias had 2 runners on base today and did not move them around. Swing and a miss by Urias. 81 miles an hour on that curveball, low below the zone. Good pitch. Bad one to be swinging at, though. Here's the next pitch. Up and in, almost hit him. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'm going to have to turn the volume down because they're constantly talking with Billy Wagner here. It's distracting me from the game. He's talking about these guys that he hung out with when they had this dinner or something. Swing and a miss up in the zone. 4-seam fastball. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Urias. 2 outs. Nobody on. Here in the bottom of the 3rd. Come on, Astros. We're going to need to put more than 1 run on the board. In the dirt. Check swing. Did he go? They say he did. And he immediately takes off his pads and stuff. He doesn't try to run to first base. They tag him out. That's going to be it for the Astros in the bottom of the 3rd. Very, very uneventful, uninspiring 3rd inning for the Astros. With a couple of strikeouts. 1, 2, 3. 3 strikeouts. Povich strikes out the side. Diaz, Walker, and Urias. Urias has now struck out once. How many? Oh, that's 2 for Altuve, 1 for Diaz, 1 for Walker, 1 for Urias, 1 for McCormick, 1 for Melton. 7 strikeouts for the Astros already. 7 strikeouts against the Astros in 3 innings. That's completely unacceptable. I'm surprised we have 1 run on the board. So some Astros are putting the bat on the ball, and the rest of them are just not batting well at all. What in the world is going on? Jason Alexander will be back up on the mound in the top of the 4th. He's up to 37 pitches, averaging basically 12.3 pitches per inning. That's pretty good. 37 pitches and 23 strikes out of those. Gunnar Henderson is due up at the plate. Let's see here. Gunnar is digging his way into the box like a gopher. Here comes the first pitch from Alexander. Right in there, and 81 miles an hour on the changeup. Strike 1. Are you guys and gals doing anything interesting this weekend? I keep forgetting it's weekend. Every day is kind of the same for me right now. Changeup misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. 40th pitch of the game coming up for Alexander. Here's the 1-1. Grounded opposite field, but right towards Correa, who fires it over to first. No problem. 1 up and 1 down. 3 pitches, 1 out. Tomorrow is Monday here in Japan, and I have an appointment with the income tax office because last year during my part-time job, you talk about lucky, I can tell you something is very, very lucky for me. 92 on the inside edge, strike 1 to Adley Rutschman. Last year, I was attending a Japanese language school, so I was only working part-time online. But I didn't actually start working that part-time job until maybe April. Here's the next pitch. Nice. 78-mile-per-hour Swiffer in the bottom of the zone, strike 2, quickly out ahead of Rutschman. That was a nice-looking pitch. Haven't seen many of those Swiffers from Alexander. The next one is a changeup in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But if your income is below a certain level, you don't pay taxes. You know, of course, I think that's common in most countries, if not all. This is foul to the right side. Oh no, that's not foul. That's fair. Taken by Walker on the bouncer. Out number 2. Off the bat, it looked foul. But it was fair. 2 up and 2 down. Mountcastle at the plate. His last at bat, he was plunked by Alexander. That was the first base runner for the Orioles, actually. But anyway, long story short, I was paid about $75 or so below that cap. Nice pitch. The Swiffer is the first pitch. Low and outside in that corner, strike 1. I paid in around $500 in taxes, and they have to give it all back to me. Swing and a miss. Sinker on that outside lower corner again. Different pitch, same result. 0-2. So tomorrow I have an appointment with the income tax office. I'm going to give them my documents, and then they will wire the money back into my bank account. So I'll get that $500 back. So I'm really happy about that. Here's the next pitch. Whoa, way outside, and it goes to the backstop. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Mountcastle at the plate. So that's what's going on for me. I go to the tax office to get a refund. But today it's just do work around the house and finish this game. Swing and a miss. 80-mile-per-hour changeup right below the zone. Another K. 1-0 Astros going into the bottom of the fourth. Alexander looking stellar. Still stellar. Let's see what he's got in the way of pitch stats. By the way, on the bench, the Astros have Caratini, Pena, Sanchez, and Trammell on the bench. In the bullpen, wow, that's a big bullpen. Abreu, Arrighetti, Brown, De Los Santos, Dubin, Javier, King, Okert, Ort, Sousa, Valdez, and Weems. That's a lot of guys. A lot of pitchers available. Let's see here. Jason Alexander has completed 4 innings, given up 1 hit, no runs, no errors, no walks, 3 strikeouts. I thought he had 4, but according to this, it's 3. Looking good so far through 4 innings. .48 pitches for Alexander and 31 strikes. At this rate, if he continues like this, he could pitch 8 innings. He could. It's possible. Yeah, Michael says, I voted for Alexander in yesterday's poll. This is good evidence of why I made that vote. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't got himself to that point where it's like absolutely 100%. He's definitely that guy. But you could say absolutely 100%. He's quite possibly that guy. 81 miles an hour right in there to Cam Smith. Cam had a pretty good at bat last time up, and he was able to get a walk and head to first base, and Doobie drove him in with a single. Here's the 0-1 pitch in the dirt, 1-1. A pitch in the dirt got Cam Smith to second base, and his speed scored him on that Doobie single. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Povich still on the mound, up to 41 pitches, 42, 43 now. 2 balls and 1 strike. Shrewdly says Stella. Are you talking about the beer? Here comes the pitch. Ooh, right in there, 93 miles an hour. Foul tip into the glove of the catcher. 2-2. You're right, Michael, absolutely. I mean, his last outing really gave him a lot of clout. This follow-up one is very important. So far, looking really good. Here's the pitch. Right side and through. Cam Smith with a single to right field. He puts on the brakes at first base. Nice. Cam Smith, despite his struggles, is still second among all rookies, or at least the AL rookies, in singles. Breaking ball and just pumped it through the right side. Not even within diveable distance by the first baseman. Leadoff runner again. Doobie rips this one foul down the third baseline. He went after it. That was a big swing. Doobie, what are you doing? I wonder if he's holding Jordan's bat today. 1 single, 1 RBI for Mr. Doobie. Can he do it again? Doobie do it again? Here's the 1-0-1 pitch, rather. It's now 0-2, 84 low and inside on that changeup taken for strike 2. They've got a nice hologram rookie card here that I can buy online from Cam Smith. I was thinking about getting it, but it's just one of those things where I haven't bought any baseball cards in a really long time. And honestly, I don't have money for baseball cards. I got to pay bills. That was a ball. 1-2 is the count to Doobie. But I think he's going to be good. You're right, Michael. Throw over to first base. Cam's back. Some of the Astros podcasts we're talking right now, sign Cam Smith immediately. Go ahead and lock him down. Save money later. They feel like it's less risky with more potential upside. What do you guys think? Up and outside, 2-2. That's actually a good poll question. Let's do that. Here comes the 2-2. Way up and outside. Good take by Doobie. 3-2 is the count. There we go. Simple poll for you guys. Sign Cam early or not? Absolutely, or no, it's too early? You're right, Michael. I agree with that. Could get a steal. And it'd be tempted to do it, right? I mean, if you were Cam, would you do it? Ball 4. Cam Smith was off and running to steal on that play, but Doobie walks. So we have 2 men on. Lead off, single, followed by a Doobie full count walk. Cade Povich up to 51 pitches now in his 3rd inning of work. He doesn't even have an out. And that brings up Chaz-tastic. Chaz-tastic. Timeout. McCormick walked out of the batter's box there. Looks like he wasn't quite ready to go. Now he's back in. Povich takes his time looking for the right call, and he's got it. Here comes the toss. 92, too far inside. Good call by the umpire, laying off that. That was a few inches inside. Good looking pitch, but off the plate. 1-0 is the count. Here comes the next pitch. Wow, 83 miles an hour on that changeup outside portion of the zone, and Chaz could not get the bat on it. Strike 1. The count is even. Man, he didn't even get close to that one. He got down there, but he couldn't get it. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Come on, Chaz, you can do it. Not on that pitch, apparently. Another changeup. This one lower than the last one. Chaz swings and misses. Same result. How about we just don't swing at the changeup? How about that? One ball, 2 strikes. Come on, wake up the beast. Too far inside on the sinker. He tries to buzz it in there. Same as that first pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, check swing. Count is 3-2. Another full count. Chaz struggling through it. Blade Rogers on deck. 57th pitch of the game from Povich on the way. The 3-2 count. Outside, ball 4. How about that? Another walk. Bases loaded with no outs. Yes. I'm really happy right now. And who gets the opportunity first? Jacob Melton with Carlos Correa on deck. Come on, Mr. Melton. I typed in the wrong thing. There we go. Here's the pitch. Way outside, ball 1. I wonder if they're going to have a little meeting on the mound with Mr. Povich after 2 full count walks. 1-0 is the count. Lefty on lefty right now. On the outside edge, strike 1. Barely got it in there. That was a good pitch. Right on that outside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bases juiced. 60th pitch of the game. 93 up in the zone, swing and a miss. Melton goes after it, can't get the bat on it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carlos Correa on deck. I'm pretty sure that he is drooling at the mouth right now. Somebody get that man a napkin. Big pitch here. The 1-2. Opposite field, it's going to be through. Melton comes through with an opposite field hit. That's going to score a run and keep the bases loaded. 2-0 Astros. Jacob Melton comes through. Pulls a Blade Rogers. Opposite field. That was on a Swiffer. Nice. He got down there and got it. He done got down there and got it. Right through the gap, baby. 6 hits for the Astros now. And there's that mound visit that I was waiting on. Absolutely, I want some payback. This is a big opportunity for the Astros to pile on a bunch of runs and get payback for yesterday. I want all those runs back in this inning. I want all 7 of those runs back in this 1 inning. Carlos Correa at the plate with bases juiced, baby. That's right. Come on. Let's just keep it going. This is the top of the Astros batting order. Let's destroy the Orioles right now. Let's just do it. 3 career grand slams for Correa. It's not too far away from the Crawford boxes, I'm just saying. Strike 1 right in there. 92 miles an hour right down the middle. Could have launched on that. Correa time. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's right through. Another opposite field hit for Correa. That's going to score another run. And bases remain juiced. It's auto mode right now. Doobie scores. And that brings up Jose Altuve. It's Altuve's turn. 3-0 Astros. 93 miles an hour fastball up and in, and Correa goes opposite field again. Right through the hole. Perfectly placed. Look at that. Perfectly placed. Michael, you're absolutely right. Pass the baton, baby. Pass the baton. No outs. Altuve at the plate takes that first pitch on the outside edge. Povich still in the game. Are they going to have anybody warming up in the bullpen right now? I wonder. 0-1. Yep, they do. Cade Stroud going in the pen, a right-hander. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Altuve. Altuve goes after that one. Change up, but fouls it off. 0-2. Come on, Altuve. It's your turn, bro. Man, I really want to see a grand slam from Altuve. Come on. I'm praying. Thank you for the Altuve grand slam. Here's a pitch. 93 miles an hour. Way up above the zone. Swing and a miss. Today is not Altuve's day. At least it's not right now. Strike 3. That's 3 strikeouts for Altuve today. 3 strikeouts. 0 for 3. 1 out. Diaz does have 1 grand slam this year. Very early in the year. Here comes the first pitch. Fouls it off. 93 above the zone. No Altuve snap. Man, what is with Altuve batting so terribly past couple of games? Just DHing, not even in the field. Here's the pitch. Fouled at the plate. 0-2. Povich getting lucky with a couple of early strikes on these batters right now. Come on now, we can't waste this. We get bases loaded with no outs. We gotta keep scoring. We gotta get 7 runs this inning. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Diaz. High and outside. 1-2 is the count. .69 pitches for Povich now. 1-2 is the count with bases loaded. Here's the toss. Diaz takes it up and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. .20 votes on the poll. 70% of you say sign Cam early. Absolutely. Here comes the 2-2 to Diaz. This is grounded up the middle. Could be a double play unassisted, and it is. There we go. There's the drive killer. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The 2 guys in the lineup that kill the rallies more than any other players, Yainer Diaz and Christian Walker. It's not an opinion. It's just data. But the Astros do manage to get 2 on the board. Even with 2 runs, I mean, I'm happy to get the runs, but I'm disappointed. We get bases loaded with no outs, and we only get 2 runs. With the top of our lineup. Now, Correa came through, and Altuve and Diaz, just 2 batters, completely wiped it out. Strikeout double play. We go into the top of the 5th. Astros with 7 hits, but only 3 runs on the board. 1 hit for the Orioles, no runs. But the Orioles are still too close. 3-0 is not good enough. Astros are going to have to come through better than that. If we have to get 7 hits just to score 3 runs, that's unacceptable. The stat that I'm most interested in right now is left on base. The Orioles have left 4 runners on base. The Astros have left 12 on base. That is really bad. That basically puts them on track of their bad percentage earlier this season when they were leaving 25 or more batters on base or hit runners on base per game. And right now they are basically at 25 or 26. They are on track right now to leave 25 or 26 batters, 25 or 26 runners on base this game, going like they are right now. Yeah, he has been, Jay. So far, he's been terrible, which is sad. He's at home right now, and he's had great opportunities, and he's just not there. Not sure what's going on. Maybe he'll shake out of it soon. Strike 1 in the bottom of the zone. Dylan Beavers at the plate. His second at bat in the MLB, facing Jason Alexander. He struck out on 3 pitches his last at bat. That is a changeup outside. 1-1 is the count. That's pitch number 50 for Alexander. Here comes the next one. This is hit into left field, but right at Chaz, who puts it away. So for the rookie Beavers, strikeout and a flyout. Welcome to the MLB. 1 away. Kobe Mayo. Do any of you know what that means in Chinese? Mayo. It means don't have something. Strike 1. 0-1 is the count. So if you go into a store and you ask them, do you have this? They might say, Mayo. This is hit hard into left field all the way out to the wall. Chaz is back and gets it in the little gap. Woo! Just shy of 366 feet. Nice little catch in the left center field area. 2 away. Opponent's batting average against Jason Alexander right now for the Astros, 214. Not just the Orioles, just overall. Johnson is at the plate. The first pitch is just below the zone on the changeup. No, that was a Swiffer. 1-0. Here's the next pitch. Line drive just past the glove of Urias. He almost had it. That's a hit, the second hit of the game, as Johnson gets on first base with that line drive. Urias not able to grab it. That brings up Dylan Carlson, another lefty. Mark says Astros winning, Mets beat the Mariners, Blue Jays whip the Rangers, Texans win over Carolina in a preseason game. Oh, you're talking about the football game. Okay. Too far inside on that pitch. The Swiffer misses. 1 ball, no strikes to Carlson. Runner on first base with 2 outs. Hey, Drambam, thanks. I really appreciate you letting people know about my channel. It's greatly appreciated. Below the zone, 91 miles an hour. Ball 2. 2 outs. 2 balls, no strikes. I really appreciate that. The more the channel grows, the more feasible it becomes for me to keep doing it. This is hit high and gone. Yeah, that's all the way gone. That's in the upper deck. That's crushed. It's 3-2. Dylan Carlson launches. He's got a triple and a 2-run homer off of Jason Alexander. This guy has got Alexander's number this game. That's why I told you 3 runs are not enough. Dylan Carlson has no problem. He's batting .205 for the season. .205, but he takes that sinker and puts it into the upper deck. It was gone into the upper deck in right field. Crushed. Literally crushed. Maybe 1,000 feet. 82 miles an hour to the next batter right in the bottom of the zone for strike 1. That's Jackson Holliday at the plate. He is 0 for 2 today with a fly out and a fielder's choice. Here's the pitch. Fouled off. Strike 2. Well, Brendan, you're right. We have a game on our hands, but I knew that when we didn't score more than 3 runs, we were going to have a game on our hands. 3 is just not enough. Even against a team like the Orioles, it's just not enough. We need 7 runs on the board. At least 5, you know, in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody on, 2 outs. Alexander now has given up 3 hits. One of those, a 2-run bomb, just a moment ago. Trying to get the 3rd strike right here against Holliday. He takes that one outside. 2-2. That's right. It seems like it, Michael. That ball still hasn't come down. That was destroyed. Completely destroyed. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Below the zone. The Swiffer misses. Full count. Espada looking a little dejected over there. Can't blame him. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Woohoo! Alexander was looking so hot. I mean, I still can't complain. Once again, think about this. The 5th inning is over. Alexander has gone through 5 innings and given up 2 runs. 3 hits and 2 runs. Can we complain about that? No. But what we can complain about, if we want to complain about anything, that is the Astros hitting. We get bases juiced with no outs. We only come away with 2 runs. And as soon as we get runs on the board, what is it about the Astros' way of doing things? Have you noticed that the Astros do this often, where we will score 1, 2, or 3 runs? We'll take the lead, or we'll put some runs on the board, and then the very next inning or the very next at bat, the other team will either tie it or take the lead back. just immediately. It's like any runs that we get, I've often seen this trend. I don't know exactly what's causing it. Do the pitchers suddenly feel... Because you look at this, Alexander went through 4 innings of really good pitching. Didn't give up anything. Not really. I mean, he gave up the triple. And then the Astros scored 2 more runs, so we're up 3-0. And then he gives up a hit, a single, and then a crushed homer. Do you think that maybe there was just a little bit of too much relaxing, a little less focus? Maybe that's what the Astros pitchers do. Do the Astros pitching staff sometimes become a little complacent? And I wonder, what about other teams? Do other teams have this phenomenon too, where they seem to get a little bit of a cushion, and then the pitchers come out and are a little too comfortable? I think if I were a pitcher, I wouldn't pay attention to the scoreboard. I would go up there like we're behind every single pitch. We're behind, we're behind, we're behind. I got to lock it down. That's the way I would pitch. Here comes the toss. Christian Walker on the very first pitch hits it way up in the air on the infield. Third baseman puts it away. 1 pitch, 1 out. Westberg with the catch. Christian Walker goes down. Ramon Urias comes to the plate. Urias 0 for 2 today. Here comes the first pitch. Cade Povich still on the mound. Orioles giving the Astros another opportunity to light this guy up. First pitch is outside, 1-0. That's an interesting stat there, Mark. I'm going to mention it in the chat or in the live stream in just a moment. Low and outside, ball 2 to Urias. Mark posted in the chat that StatMuse, the website, says that the Astros have a strong record when they score 4 or more runs in a game. This is grounded to the right side and tossed to Povich, who steps on the base for out number 2. Urias goes down. That's 2 outs, and Cam Smith comes to the plate. Cam having a pretty good day. A walk and a single to the right side. He has scored twice. He's been a good luck charm if he gets on base. And the specifics of the Astros record when they score 4 or more is 47-13. 47 wins and 13 losses. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Cam. How about a little crank it up? Crank it up, Cam. Does it feel like it's been too long since we've seen some power from Cam? Opposite field hits. Singles are good, but let's see some power. Fouls it off. 93 miles an hour. 0-2. Yeah. I agree, Alan. Perfect. It must have been a perfect launch angle. Alan says that home run that was knocked out was 107.1 miles an hour with a 385 velocity. 385 foot length. Strike 3, up and in. That was not in the zone, but it was close enough for the umpire, and that is a strike 3 looking. 3 up and 3 down for the Astros in the 5th. The Astros do not answer. We go to the top of the 6th. 3-2. We got a 1-run game right now. Alexander up to 64 pitches. He'll be facing Jordan Westberg. But Alan, you're right on that home run. 107.1 exit velocity, 385 feet distance. But it was to the upper deck. That's a good example of angle. Angle matters so much. The angle was perfect on that one, wasn't it? Yeah, it's probably right. It felt like it was about 420 feet. It was just the right launch angle. I wonder what's going on. Let's see if we got anything, any scores of interest. Check this out. The Reds are beating the Brewers 2-1 in the 8th inning. The Braves destroying the Guardians 8-1. Royals over the Red Sox 3-0. The Tigers are winning 2-0 in the 5th inning over the Twins. Let's take a quick look at this game. There are 2 guys on base. Who's batting right now? Okay, the Tigers are batting. That's no good. They got 2 guys on base. And it looks like Dingler just lined out. Okay, good. The inning is over. Tigers had 2 guys on base just now, but they stranded them, so that's good. Let's go back to the scoreboard. Anything else of interest? Cardinals down by 1 to the Yankees in the 4th inning. Come on, Cardinals. Yeah, nothing else. First pitch to Jordan Westburg is a swing and a miss on the changeup, strike 1. Here comes the next pitch, outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Who pitches tomorrow for us? I thought that I knew the answer to that. This is hit hard to right field. Barely foul. Bounces into the crowd. It's Javier. Christian Javier is pitching tomorrow, Brendan. One ball, 2 strikes to Jordan Westburg. Here's the toss. Fouls that one off into the crowd. Count remains 1-2. Yeah, you're right, Alan. It kind of reminds me a little bit of golf. You know, it depends on how you hit it. Of course, you have much less control in baseball because all the bats are the same, essentially. I mean, there are some minor differences, but it's not like you have a collection of different bats to decide distances and things like that. That's a strikeout. Good pitch there for Alexander. 92 up and outside. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout, and that's out number 1 this inning. 69 pitches now for Alexander. The 70th will come against Gunnar Henderson. Here's the toss. He grounds that one foul on the first pitch. Strike 1. No problem, Brendan. Glad to help. Chris says, gotta find my earplugs. Next door neighbors are having a party. Holy cow. Really? What kind of party are they having right now? Fouled back. Strike 2. Gunner is gunning for a strikeout. Adley Rutschman on deck. Will Alexander pick up another strikeout right here? We've got some milk. We've got a spoon and a bowl. We just need the special K. High and outside. That is a ball. 1-2 is the count. Here comes the toss. Almost in the dirt. 2-2. The changeup missing down low. That's one of the things I never have to worry about out here. Don't hear cars, don't hear music, don't hear anything. 91 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone. Strike 3, baby. Got him looking. And some more special K from Alexander. Beautiful in the bottom of the zone there. 91 mile per hour sinker. Beautimus. Man, right there at his knees. That was perfect. It doesn't get more perfecter. Next batter is Adley Rutschman. Another one, 91 in that same spot. Beautiful. Strike 1. Henderson toast crunch. Henderson Toast crunch. Can't believe I still remember that. This is grounded to second base. Urias grabs it, throws to first. Out number 3, another easy inning. Man, other than that 5th inning, see, this is what happens. You get burned and then you come back and you focus. I feel like the reason that last inning happened is not because Alexander is a bad pitcher or because he's struggling or anything like that. I think that he came out maybe unfocused. And then after giving up the hit and the homer, he was like, holy crap, I need to lock it in. This game is not in the bag. He locks it down, gets 3 up and 3 down, 2 strikeouts and a ground out. We are finished with the top of the 6th. Mauricio Dubon, Chas McCormick, Jacob Melton due up for the Astros. The very bottom of the batting order. Let's get this set up again for the top of the batting order. We need to give guys like Altuve another opportunity to do something here. I want to see Altuve up to bat again with runners on. He needs another opportunity to get himself in gear. Yes, that's right. He is facing major league hitters, but he's a major league pitcher. That's for sure. But like I said before, I'm not watching any other team's games. So the only teams that I can go by are the teams that are playing the Astros and then the Astros themselves. And whenever they score some runs, get a little bit of a lead, then it's interesting to see how their pitchers come out in the very next inning. And what I've seen the Astros pitchers do too often this year is come out and give up some runs. After having a relatively good performance and the Astros get some runs on the board, it's kind of like there's like a cushion, a little safety net, and then they come out a little unfocused. So that's an interesting stat that I'd like to see. What kind of an ERA change is there for pitchers after their team scores 2 or 3 runs? You know what I'm saying? First pitch to Doobie is in the top of the zone for strike 1. That's a stat that I never hear anybody talk about, but I would like to hear. Yeah, the Goats get beat up, but I'm not talking about overall. I'm talking about a very specific situation. Here's a pitch. 91 miles an hour, fouled off by Doobie, and it's 0-2. Still Viper's right. Only 3 hits in 6 innings. 2 runs. Take that all day, any day. Of course, 100%. I'm with you on that. Costanza has been solid. I'm believing right now, but then again, this is the Orioles. You never know what's going to happen. Yesterday was crazy. Today, the Orioles are kind of playing like you would expect the Orioles to play. Today is kind of what I was expecting for yesterday, and it just didn't work out that way, right? This is the MLB. Here's the 1-2 in the dirt. He almost hit him there. 2-2 is the count to Doobie. Povich still on the mound. He's got 82 pitches under his belt right now. Festivus for the rest of us. Here is the 2-2 pitch. This is grounded on the right side, taken by Holiday, who fires it over to first base to get the out. Doobie is gone. 1 down. Chas McCormick comes to the plate. Summer of George. What are you talking about? Can't do a really good George. As I pour coffee all over my face. At least it didn't get on my shirt. First pitch to McCormick on the way. 93 right in there. McCormick was not able to get the bat on the ball his last at bat. However, he was able to wait it out and get a walk. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. 80 miles an hour, swing and a miss. The curveball, once again. Povich His breaking pitches are just eating McCormick alive. Pena is in the dugout over there. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Change up down the middle in the bottom of the zone. Fouled off by McCormick, and he stays alive with the 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. Another swing and miss. Run, Chaz! Freaking run! What are you doing? That ball was in the dirt. He swings and misses it. The ball bounces out of the glove of the catcher. Chaz McCormick just walks away. Take him out of the game. Take him out of the game. Why is he even in there? He can't hit a breaking pitch. And then that laziness right there. Why didn't you run to first base? Make him make the throw. That's loser mentality right there. You want to lose a game, you want to miss the playoffs. That is how you play right there. The way that McCormick just walked away after that strikeout. Jacob Melton takes that second pitch on the outside edge for strike one. The count is even 1-1. While I'm ranting about McCormick's immature, unprofessional nonsense. 1-1 is the count to Melton with 2 outs, nobody on. Melton had a big hit, a big single earlier, scored a run with bases loaded. Right now, with that foul ball, he's down in the count 1-2. Serenity now, serenity now, that's right. Still Viper, yeah, I remember that. Payne did the same thing the other day. Had an opportunity to run and just walked away like didn't care. Swing and a miss. 93 above the zone, and the Astros are gone. 3 up and 3 down again. Yep, 3 runs are not enough. We got to score some more. Got to score some more. Can't be doing that. It's funny how they go from the Japanese commercials to these American baseball commercials. It goes back and forth. I see both. 6 innings are finished, guys and gals. 7 hits for the Astros, 3 hits for the Orioles, but the Orioles have 2 runs on the board with just those 3 hits. We only have 3 on the board. Cade Povich has 90 pitches. Will they bring him back out in this inning? Or in the next inning? Don't know. Alexander's up to 76 pitches. Most likely he'll be back out for the 7th. He's going to be facing Ryan Mountcastle, Dylan Beavers, and Kobe Mayo. Fromber complained last night, says Steel Viper. He complained in the post game that the offense didn't give him enough time to get a drink of water. Well, it's true. I mean, no hits all the way into the 8th. And you can't say that Fromber had a bad game. It wasn't a good game, but it wasn't bad. It was enough. He did enough. He wasn't, I guess you could say he wasn't ace in yesterday's game, but he was acceptable. The problem was not the starting pitcher. The problems for the Astros were the relievers and the hitting. Those were the problems for the Astros. Yeah, keep Pena away from everybody else. Brian King is in the game for the Astros. He'll be facing Ryan Mountcastle, so Alexander is actually out. The very first pitch is opposite field hit by Mountcastle. He's on base. There we go. Okay, got the pitcher changed. 1 pitch, 1 hit. Runner on first base. Here in the top of the 7th. Brian King now facing Dylan Beavers. Here's a pitch. Low and outside. Ball 1. Hey, old dog. Welcome in. Good to see you. Here's the pitch, the 1-0. Fouled off. 92 miles an hour on that fastball. 1-1. Beavers has a strikeout. And I believe a fly out. Woo! 93 on that outside edge. The umpire didn't call it a strike, but it clearly was on the edge of the zone there. 2 balls and 1 strike to Beavers. MLB newbie. 2-1 in the dirt. 3-1. Come on, don't mess around with this guy. Yeah, King has been way off of his game shrewdly. Last year, King won me over, and I became a big supporter of King, but he has started to struggle, hasn't he? 93 in the zone, fouled away, full count. Runner on first base, no outs. MLB newbie Dylan Beavers at the plate with a full count against Magnum PI, who's been pitching more like Higgins. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Right in there, fouled off again. Count remains full. Yeah, old dog, it is good to see us winning, but now that the relievers are in the game, we'll see how the Astros hold it together. If our hitters and our relievers can do their job today, it would be nice. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Right in there, swing and a miss. Good. Good, 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 good. Strike 3. King picks up a K and the first out of the inning against the rookie. The new guy has struck out twice and flown out once today. Might be the last time we see him. Should be the last time we see him today. Kobe Mayo comes to the plate. 1 out, 1 runner on first. Here's the toss. Lefty on righty. Nice. 81 mile per hour Swiffer. Glad that last batter, the lefty, was the newbie. Right-handed batter here for King. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Nope, he goes over to first base. Little easy throw just to kind of reset the clock. Well, the hair and the mustache is the reason, a big part of the reason why I call him Magnum PI, because he looks just like Tom Selleck. I mean, look at him. It looks like Tom Selleck on the mound. That's why I call him Magnum PI. It's the same reason I call Caratini the Batman, because he looks so much like Ben Affleck. But it makes sense in several ways, not just looking like him. Here's the 0-2 pitch in the dirt. Scooped up by Diaz. Runner stays on first. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, Melton's mustache is the one that looks most adult style, you know what I'm saying? There's a new Magnum PI. I have not seen that. In the dirt. 2-2. Mark, I was not aware that there is a new Magnum PI. Bennett Sousa is warming up in the dugout for the Astros. Next pitch is below the zone, 3-2. A fastball just misses a couple of inches below. He tried to buzz it in the bottom there. No, I believe that Higgins is the name of the guy that was like the personal assistant or whatever to Magnum PI in the original series. I can show you right quick. This guy. That's Higgins. And while we're looking at Higgins, Magnum PI gets a strikeout. Swing and a miss. Out number 2. But yeah, this guy is Higgins. First batter, or next batter rather, is Daniel Johnson. He hits it deep out to left field, but Chaz is back in the corner and puts it away. That's the second one caught in that area. Johnson goes down on one pitch. Dangerous left-handed hit, but Brian King gets it done. Magnum PI shuts it down in the 7th inning. Thank you, Brian King. I am so happy to see you have such a good, clean inning. One hit off the very first pitch, and after that, he was locked down. We go into the bottom of the 7th. The Astros up 3-2. 7 hits to the Orioles 4. No errors. Yeah, I see what you guys and gals are talking about. Because if you take a look, when you search for Higgins Magnum PI, I guess that's her right there, right? But of course they would gender swap, because why not? You know, that's what they do with everything nowadays, gender swap. I mean, I don't know if the show's any good. I guess I don't know who this guy is. I guess he's the new Magnum PI. I don't know. But I don't watch TV series, so I have no idea. Alan, have you seen good-looking British actresses? Easy to mistake. Well, I could go with the stereotype joke, right? Where, oh, she's kind of pretty. You know, she's British, and then she smiles. Whoa! That's the stereotype joke. Whoops. Thanks, Brendan. Sorry about that. When I'm focused in on the live chat, I'm not looking at my small software screen. But I think probably on the ads, I don't necessarily get the copyright claim. Probably not. That's my guess. Here's the pitch. I've never gotten a copyright claim for showing the ads. I know that. Carlos Correa at the plate. 1-0 pitch. Cade Stroud now on the mound for the Orioles. He goes after that one and fouls it off. 91 low in the zone. The count is 1-1. Let's see here. I need to change the name of the pitcher here. So out with one Cade and in with another. This one with a K. Cade with a C is out. Cade with a K is in. Here's the pitch. This is hit up the middle. Line drive caught by Stroud. Just threw his glove out there and caught it. It was not hit very hard. Kind of like the commentator said, made it look a lot. Made it look easy, but it was easy. It wasn't as hard as it looked. One out. Altuve comes to the plate with 3 Ks. Come on now. Come on, Altuve. Here's a pitch. Outside, ball 1. I used to have a British colleague here in East Hiroshima when I was teaching here. She was something else, I'll say that. 90 in the top of the zone to Altuve. 1 ball, 1 strike. She really hated America. But then again, a lot of British people, it's like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because the UK has just continually gotten worse and worse and worse, and they can't control the US, not the people anyway. Low and outside in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike. She was addicted to McDonald's and Pizza Hut, but she was constantly bashing America. So I thought it was kind of funny that she was gaining weight and getting bigger and bigger and bigger while eating tons of American food, while complaining about the U.S. all the time. Up and in, 3 balls and 1 strike to Altuve. Oh, of course, Mark. Of course. I'm not surprised. They change Higgins to a girl and they hook up. Yeah, of course. Here's the 3-1. Altuve hits it pretty deep. It might be gone. It's all the way back. It's all the way back. And it is gone. Yes, Altuve. No, they say it's off the wall. Altuve's heading to third, and they don't throw it. That's a triple. They're going to take another look at it because that ball looked like it was gone. If it's in the park, that's a triple for Altuve. We're going to have to go back and take a look at it, but that ball was way up there, and it stayed up there so long. They're out there discussing it. Let's take a look. That's a homer, baby. That's a homer. That's above the yellow line. That's a home run. That's another homer for Altuve. They're about to call it. They're out there discussing it right now. I don't know what they're discussing. All we got to do is take a look at it. Finally, he calls it a homer. What in the world are you discussing? Altuve with a homer. 3 strikeouts and a freaking home run. Thank you, God. He didn't get the grand slam with the bases loaded, but he got the homer. That was blasted. Left center field. Well above the line. I could see that. Look at that. Boom. About 2 feet above the yellow line out there in left center field. 4-2 Astros. 1 out. Yainer Diaz at the plate. Here's the next pitch from Stroud. Hit up the middle by Diaz. Scooped up by Holiday and fires over to first to get the out. 2 away. What in the world is going on with the umpires there? And Altuve booked it around the bases, man. He didn't wait on the umpires. He really was off to the races, turning that into a triple. That ball was in the air forever. It was blasted. Christian Walker at the plate. 1 for 3 today with the single. Here comes the pitch outside. It's okay if Altuve has 3 strikeouts today. He tacked another run on the board. We've got a 2-run lead now, thanks to him. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Walker with 2 outs and nobody on. Just a little below the zone. 2 balls and no strikes. Good take. Time to get off the golden sombrero. Here comes the 2-0 pitch to Mr. Walker. When I see the name Stroud, I think of C.J. Stroud, but it's spelled differently. 2 balls and 1 strike with that foul. We finally, after waiting the whole game, we finally get the Altuve snap. Man, how awesome would that have been for him to get that hit with bases loaded. Low and outside. Good call by the umpire. 3-1. Whew. Good job, Altuve. 3 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the toss. In the dirt, ball 4. Walker will walk. Ramon Urias comes to the plate with a runner on. 8 hits for the Astros and 4 runs on the board. Can Urias drive in another? Can he do it? Yes, he can. 125 people watching right now. Hey, that's not bad for a weekend game. Thanks for being here, everyone. Odious fouls back that first pitch, the 96-mile-an-hour sinker. Strike 1. If you have not liked the live stream, I would encourage you to do so right now, and thank you in advance. How many likes do we have? Let me take a look. Here comes the next pitch to Urias, the 0-1. Grounded down the third base side. Could be a tough play. And he's able to make it. Bare hands it, throws it to first. And that's out number 3. But Altuve with the home run to left center field gets 1 run on the board extra for the Astros, and we have a 2-run lead, 4-2, going into the top of the 8th. 4-2. Not an amazingly stellar game, but compared to yesterday, it is absolutely stellar. More localized commercials. It's interesting to me how it goes from the Japan commercials to the American commercials and back and forth. Sometimes I see like Whataburger or these other commercials, and sometimes I see local Japanese commercials. It's very interesting. I think I'm going to lay off the coffee until I make my lunch. No more coffee for me today. No more coffee. Well, no more coffee until I eat, I think. How many likes do we have? About 65. 65. That's a little over 50%. We got about around 60% likes. It'd be nice to get that up to 75%. 967 subs. I don't know what's going on. I guess it's because the Astros haven't been playing very well, but a lot of you are not subscribed. The vast majority of those of you who listen in are not subscribed, and I don't quite understand why, because there are people who are doing the live play-by-play for the Orioles. They are Orioles fans, so if you're an Orioles fan and you're listening to my live stream, I don't quite understand why you're not listening to the Orioles live stream instead. Am I that much better than the Orioles live streamers? The majority of my listeners are actually not subscribers. If you like the Astros, why are you not subscribed? I only need about, 33 subscribers to get to 1,000? Once I do, I'm having a giveaway. So if you subscribe, you'll have an opportunity to get into that giveaway. Bennett Sousa now on the mound for the Astros. He is facing Dylan Carlson. First pitch on the way. He shows bunt. Takes a strike on the outside edge and low. A little generous by the umpire there, I feel. But works out in our favor. Bennett Sousa. Here comes the next pitch. In the dirt. If you guys are enjoying what you're seeing and you like the Astros, I do appreciate your subscription. Seriously, though. The more the channel grows and the community grows, the better for everybody. There are a lot of things I'd like to do, but I can't do until the channel grows a lot more. In the dirt. Check swing. Did he go? They say he did not. 2 balls and 1 strike to Carlson. Tucker Carlson at the plate? No, Dylan Carlson. Dylan Carlson at the plate? I mean, if Dylan Carlson is at the plate. Okay, maybe I can't do a good Tucker Carlson. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice slider. Low and outside. 2-2 is the count. Look how nasty this was. Perfectly placed. 'Tis great. That's a great pitch. Let's throw that again. He does throw it again, but he doesn't get the swing this time. Just a little too low. Full count. Here comes the full count. 3-2. Ooh, in the dirt. Ball 4. That's a walk. Sousa was looking good until he lost it with those last 2 pitches. Looked like he was going to get a strikeout for sure. Last 2 pitches were just too low. Dylan Carlson walks. Leadoff runner on base. Jackson Holiday comes to the plate. Jose, can you see Altuve? Something like that. Up and in, ball 1 to Holiday. Alan says, grew up watching Ryan, Scott, Glenn Davis, Biggio, Bagwell, Berkman, all franchise goats and record holders, but Altuve is the organization's true greatest of all time in my eyes. I agree. When I was a kid, Glenn Davis was my hero. MLB wide, you know, he wasn't as amazing. Definitely pales in comparison to several other Astros, but when I was a kid, he was my guy. That pitch was outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jackson Holliday. 10th pitch of the game coming up for Sousa. Runner on first, no outs. Double play ball. Check swing. Did he go? They say yes, he did. That's strike 2. 2-2. Nice pitch. The sinker, low and inside, got him to go around. I was addicted to getting the Glenn Davis baseball cards. Took me forever to locate and get his rookie card. I think it was a Donruss card, if I'm not mistaken. Did he go again? No. Woo! Check swing. Full count. Take a look at this one. Woo, that was close. Full count. This is hit hard to right field. It's going to be gone, I think. Yeah, it's gone. 2-run homer, Jackson Holliday. The game's tied. Bennett Sousa gives up a 2-run shot. There we go again. But the Astros relievers letting us down. 3-2 pitch right over the plate. Right over the plate. No movement at all on that one. It dropped maybe 1 inch overall. That was gone. Easy. Nice easy swing about 15 rows back. Yeah, that's right. Well, you know, the good thing is, Steel Viper, there are no outs, but nobody on, so that's the good thing. There's always a silver lining. And Bennett Sousa stays on my questionable list. I know some people try to say that Bennett Sousa is like the solid guy, but I don't think so. I think he's on the questionable list for me. He's like a coin toss. I've said that before and I'll say it again. He's a coin toss for me. You never know what you're going to get when he's out there. He's going to be good, really good and solid and locked down, or he's just going to be off. Yeah, at least there's that. But we need to win this game. It's tied up right now. In the 8th inning, the Astros. Once again, remember what I said? The Astros put another run on the board, and then they gave up 2. So the Astros got 2 in the 4th, gave up 2 in the 5th. Got 1 with a 2-run lead in the 7th. Top of the 8th, gave up 2. 1-1 is the count to Westberg. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-2. I don't want those extra innings, but, you know, we have 2 more opportunities to get runs on the board, so I think we can avoid it. Here's a pitch. I know we'll avoid it. In the dirt, 2-2 is the count. Next pitch is on the way, the 2-2. A single into left field. The hits continue. A walk, a homer, and now a single. 3rd straight Oriole to get on base. Gunnar Henderson comes to the plate with a runner on, no outs. Josh Miller's going to come out and have a little talk with Sousa. We have a little break while they have their meeting on the mound. Everybody coming in to get in on it. Gunner is at the plate. First pitch is thrown and grounded to Correa. Throws it to second. Throws it to first. They say he's out. It looks like a double play right now, but they're going to consider whether or not they want to challenge it or not. Yeah, he's going to be safe at first base. Yeah, they're challenging it. And he's safe. Definitely safe. That's not going to be a double play. Yep. That's an easy call. 1 out, runner at first base. Double play is nullified. It was a good play by... good play by Correa. There you go. There's a poll for you. Adley Rutschman at the plate over 3 today. Old Dog says, anyone in the bullpen? I haven't seen anybody going in the bullpen yet. Probably is, though. Usually when they bring Josh Miller out like that in a situation, they get somebody going in the bullpen, but I didn't see anybody going. Yeah, I feel like our relievers definitely do give up more home runs than the starters do. At least they have been recently. I mean, the relievers have been allowing them the games to get blown up. If that happens, we're done. There's nothing we can do about that. 0-1. Here's the pitch. On that outside edge, just misses. 1-1. Runner on first, 1 ball, 1 strike. 4-4. 6 hits for the Orioles, 8 for the Astros. We're tied at 4, top of the 8th. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. This is a stolen base up the middle. No play. The ground ball back to Sousa. He scoops it up. Good catch. But because of the steal, there's no play at second base, so he goes to first to get the out. Two away, Ryan Mountcastle, and Sousa is going to be out. So there you go, Old Dog. They definitely are going to be pulling Sousa out right here and bringing in another pitcher. Who's coming in? Ort? That's my guess. Yep. Caleb Ort. Called it. Caleb Ort. All right. Might as well bring in Chaz. Let's not give up that early. Let's not give up that early. I'm really wanting to get myself a really good microphone. Something that takes out all of that static and environment noise and background noise and all of that, to give you guys and gals a better listening experience. But the microphone that I want to buy, once again, it's just one of those things. Until my situation changes, I'm just unable to do that. I want to do everything that I can to improve the channel. But the last couple of days, with the subscriber count growing so slowly, I mean, the success of the Astros, it really does affect my channel a lot. Whenever the Astros are doing well, people are really excited, and they kind of flood in and subscribe a lot faster. And the numbers go up. Sometimes I get as many as 25 subscribers in one day. That's amazing. 25 subscribers within a 24-hour period is absolutely amazing. But yesterday I got 2. Why is that? Because nobody was in a good mood to be subscribing. It didn't have anything to do with me or my channel. It had everything to do with the Astros' performance. So the Astros actually, their performance actually hurts or hinders my channel. Next pitch is on the way. The very first pitch to, is that Mountcastle? Swiffer misses. 1 ball, no strikes. Yes, that is Mountcastle. Ryan Mountcastle is at the plate with 2 outs. Runner on second base. Caleb Ort on the mound for the Astros. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. This is hit high in the air, and he issues a 4-lettered word right off the bat, and that's put away by Ramon Urias. Mountcastle is really upset. For a second there, I thought somebody was yelling from my left side a 4-lettered word at me. That's what it sounded like. It was so loud. It's nice to hear these players shouting the 4-lettered word like that when you got so many kids watching the game on the weekend. Thank you so much for your respect of the children, Mr. Mountcastle. But the Astros do give up 2 runs thanks to the Bennett Sousa 2-run homer. 4-4. We're going to the bottom of the 8th. This is go time for the Astros. This is where we find out just how deep their batting can be. Cam Smith is due up, followed by Mauricio Dubon and Chas McCormick. We might see some pinch hitting. I hope that we see some pinch hitting here for McCormick at least. McCormick has been terrible this game. Just absolutely terrible in this game. Chaz would definitely be a better pitcher right now, old dog, than he would be a batter, that's for sure. Alan says, when did our bullpen giving up big hits become the norm? Most of the first part of this year, our bullpen was church for the opponent. Maybe you meant clutch. But you could say it was like church. They go there to get humbled, right? After the All-Star game, it got a little weird. You're right. August 2015, 3 walk-offs between the 16th and the 18th. Altuve, Marwin, and Correa. 3 walk-offs in just a few days. I guess the Space City Network is wanting to relive that right now. I don't want to wait till the 9th inning, though. I want this 8th inning. Because we got the bottom of the lineup right now. If they can get on base, we can give the top of the lineup an opportunity to drive everybody in. Cam Smith is out. Sanchez is in the game, baby. Pinch hitter for Cam Smith. We're bringing in the lefty since the Orioles have a righty in, Yennier Cano. Here's the first pitch. Swing and a miss, 94 miles an hour on that fastball. How do you spell this guy's name? Yennier Cano. Kano. Here's a pitch. Ooh, opposite fouled rip. But fouled. That was a rip by Sanchez. Unfortunately, out of play. Got about 20 votes on this. I'm going to close the poll in just a moment after this first at bat. Low and outside. If you guys have not voted in the poll, now's your opportunity. Guess who's on deck? Jeremy Pena. Dubon is out of the game too. Astros are getting serious. Nice to see Espada bringing in some serious hitters. Tapper to the pitcher. That was not a serious hit though. 1 away. And we're going to go ahead and end the poll right now, before it has a chance to be tampered with by how the Astros are doing in this inning. 21 votes. Astros walk it off in the 9th, 42%. Astros retake it in the 8th, 33%. Extra innings, yes, 14%. 9% say no, Astros lose. 9% of you gave up. Home run time, says Old Dog. We'll see. Jeremy Pena at the plate with 1 out, nobody on. Here's the first pitch from Kano. 95 miles an hour, sinker right in there for strike 1. Come on, Flash. That's right. Flash for the first time is at the plate in this game. Here's the pitch. 85 in the very bottom of the zone. Strike 2. Pena, don't come in just to take 2 strikes and swing and miss. Come on, man. You can do it. Here comes the toss. That's exactly what he does. Swing and a miss on the slider. I saw it coming, an outside low pitch. Jeremy Pena, he chases it. You know, I feel like I know these batters better than they know themselves. Pena goes back like a dog to his vomit. Have you guys ever heard that? That's actually an expression in the Bible. A dog returning to its vomit. Pena chasing the ball outside and low to strike out. That is old Pena. 2 outs. We got another pinch hitter. Lefty. The Tram. Nice to see McCormick out of the game. Can Tram come up with a big hit? He hits that one up in the air on the very first pitch and out of play. Behind the Orioles dugout. Taylor Trammell at the plate with the 0-1 count. 2 outs, nobody on. The Tram could bring it out of the station. He could take it out of the station. Make the rounds. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jose Cruz. Yeah, it's sad that Jose Cruz couldn't wind up with the Astros in the end. Here's a pitch. A little far inside. Close. 2 balls and 1 strike to Trammell. Altuve's home run has this game at 4-4. Come on, Tram. Here's the 2-1. Too low. 3-1. Good takes. How about you just give him a home run derby pitch right over the plate. Here comes the pitch. In the dirt, ball 4. Tram is on base. So the Tram does pull out of the station and makes 1 stop at first. Jacob Melton comes to the plate. Another lefty. He does have 1 good hit this inning with an RBI, with bases loaded. Cano is up to 15 pitches now in this inning. Right-handed pitcher versus the lefty Melton. Here comes the first pitch to Blade Rogers. Low and inside. In the dirt. Another ball. Looks like Cano is having some control issues suddenly. 1-0 is the count. 2 outs. The Tram on first base. Bring him around, baby. He's a fast one. Bring him around. They throw her to first base. Trammell is back. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Here's the steal attempt. Is Trammell in there? They say he's out. So they decide to send Trammell. Ooh, that was close. Not close enough to review, apparently. They do not challenge it. Out number 3. We go into the top of the 9th. This game is still tied 4-4. Caleb Wirt might still be on the mound for the Astros. He's only pitched 2 pitches. Dylan Beavers is due up. He's over 3 today. The rookie. They might have a pinch hitter for him. We'll see in just a moment. Alan says, I loved Billy Duran. Old Dog says, I loved it when the announcer used to say, Jose Cruz. Yeah, those days are pretty nostalgic. I was a kid during those days. Alan says, Duran always seemed to make crazy plays at second. Always wondered if he could dunk because he jumped so high to tag or snag those liners. I wonder how tall he was. They're giving me wrong results. They're giving me results for... okay, I see. Now it's correct. Now it's correct. Thank you for that. For some reason, it's giving me the wrong results. 5'11" is not really tall, but it's tall. I was expecting it to be higher than that. Brian Abreu is on the mound. They're going to go ahead and bring in Abreu. First pitch is hit out to the wall. Looks like it's going to bounce over. No, it bounces off the wall. It's going to be a double. Very first pitch. So they bring in Abreu early while the game is still tied. And guess what? Dylan Beavers, think about that. Think about how crazy this is. Dylan Beavers, the rookie, gets his first hit off Brian Abreu on the first pitch. Double into right field off the wall. His first hit was almost a homer. One bouncer off the wall. That's crazy. Off of Brian Abreu. Next batter is Kobe Mayo, who takes that first pitch on the outside edge for strike one. Yeah, you're right, Shrewdly. About Mike Scott's Cy Young. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice slider. Pena in at shortstop. Sanchez out there. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. 98 way high. 1-2 is the count. Yeah, Scott had the ability to become one of the all-time bests everywhere. I mean, at one point he was. But for like overall career, he could have been easily one of the all-time bests. Not just for the Astros. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Here comes the 2-2 pitch from Abreu. Mayu swings and misses that one. Finally, Abreu puts it in the right spot, just at the top of the zone. 98 miles an hour, strike 3, and out number 1. Next batter is Daniel Johnson. First pitch on the way. Way high, 98 miles an hour. Missing by a couple of feet. 1-0 is the count. Old Dog, as they say, from your mouth to God's ears. DP. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. 98 right in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, the longevity is what he needed, Alan. You're 100% right. I agree with that fully. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Ball gets away from Diaz. Runner goes to third. Well, we have runners moved around, so there's no DP there. I didn't even realize he was on second. When did he get to second? I guess he took second without even a throw. Sorry about that, old dog. They aren't showing it. So I didn't even see it. I didn't even see him take second base. Now he's on third. Crazy. 1 out. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. That's outside. Shouldn't that be 2-2? Come on, get that strikeout, Abreu. Here's the pitch. 98 too high. Yeah, on my screen it says 1-2, but it's now 3-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes. They just changed it to 2-2, but it's not 2-2. It's 3-2. If you look on my, oh, you can't see it on there. Now they've got it 3-2. They caught up. Full count to Daniel Johnson. Fouls it off down the first baseline. The count remains full. Runner on third. We can't fool around here. We cannot lose. We cannot lose a home series to the Baltimore Orioles. Here comes the 3-2. Swing and a miss. 88 miles an hour on the slider. Strikeout for Abreu on the full count to Daniel Johnson. Nice slider. 2 down. Fox at bat, no problem. Fox says his daughter took his phone to draw, so he couldn't write in the chat. Dylan Carlson comes to the plate. First pitch in there, 99 miles an hour, right down the middle. Strike 1. He's having a day with a triple, a homer, and a walk. Maybe his luck turns around right here against Abreu. The slider misses low. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'm trying not to cough too. I've been coughing so strong, I think it's kind of damaged some of the capitularies, or what do you call those? Capillaries, whatever you call those things in your lungs. Here's a pitch. Woo, way inside, 98 miles an hour, misses. Diaz is able to grab it. Can't be giving up a wild pitch run. 2 balls and 1 strike to Carlson. So I think my lungs are a little irritated from coughing too hard recently. Here's the 2-1. This is hit high in the air, 99 miles an hour on the left side, and just out of play, maybe 5 rows back. Strike 2. Correa can't quite get to it. You could have jumped up in the stands. Is that allowed? If you jump into the stands, like 5 rows back, or run into the stands, make that catch, will that be allowed? Or is the rule that you have to have at least 1 foot in the field or whatever? You have to be in the field to play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The crowd is on their feet. Here's the pitch. High and outside. Another full count. 98 miles an hour missing. $131 people watching right now. I do appreciate you liking the live stream, sticking around and supporting the channel, what I'm doing here at the very least. Here comes the full count pitch. Right in the bottom of the zone, strike 3. Rings him up. He thought it was gonna be a walk. He started to go to first base, and the umpire slowly rung him up. That's right. Go sit down, boy. Boy. Go sit down. Big strikeout there for Brian Abreu in the top of the 9th with a runner on third base. Holy freaking cow. That could have gotten really bad. A little hairy, just like a Sasquatch. But Abreu pulls out the clippers at the end and gets the K. Phew, that was close. Yes, you're right, old dog. That's exactly the way I felt. Goodness gracious. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Now it's time to see who's right. 42% of you say that the Astros are going to walk it off. Now, obviously, they couldn't get it in the eighth. So either we're going to have a walk-off or extra innings. The Astros are not going to lose in 9. That's impossible. So it's either going to be extra innings or the Astros walk it off. Now, at this time last year, the Astros had 3 walk-off games in a row. One by Altuve, one by Correa. And those guys are actually on the team right now. And guess who gets to bat this inning? Melton is going to be back up at the plate because Trammell was caught stealing, so he will bat again. Carlos Correa is on deck and Jose Altuve in the hole. Correa has got a little bit of success today with 2 hits and an RBI. Altuve has a home run. 2 of our runs have come from the bats of Correa and Altuve. Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. I'm all in on Altuve. He doesn't have to be the leader in every category, but overall, he has basically contributed in every category in a significant way. Yaramil Giraldo is in the game. Jacob Melton is at the plate. First pitch, 95, right in the zone, fouled back. Patrick says it's driving him nuts. We play bad against bad teams. It has been a repeating theme this year, right? Playing up to the good teams and destroying them even. Playing down to the bad teams and letting them destroy us. It's kind of crazy. It's a mind scratcher. Or a mind boggler and a head scratcher, rather. Fouled off. I'm sorry, that was not fouled off. That was a wild pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Altuve is a leader's leader. That's right. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Ooh, 85-mile-per-hour changeup. You got to keep your head down and stay in there, Melton, on those pitches. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He calls a timeout. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Mark, I think I know what you're trying to say. He's the only player that has only played for one team in the American League and the National League. He's not the only player who's played for the same team in 2 different leagues. He's the only one who's played only for that team. I think that's what you mean to say. But yeah, I see what you're saying. 1-2 pitch to Melton is on the way. Strike 3, swing and a miss. 96 up and in on the fastball. Melton can't get the bat on it. So it's up to Correa and Altuve right now. The crowd is cheering as South Korea comes to the plate. Getting on base is good. Hitting it out of the park is even better. But Correa is capable of either of those. It depends on where they're playing in the field, I think. Here's the pitch. 87 on that slider. Swing and a miss on the outside edge. Oh and 1 with 1 out, nobody on. Bottom of the 9th. Here we go. Outside, low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Crowd needs to be a little bit louder. Don't make it easy on the pitcher. Make some noise. 1-1 is the count with 1 out. Here's the pitch. 96 right in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Takes it right down the middle. Altuve looming on deck. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Correa. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. The slider missing. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 38,000 people in the park today. It's pretty packed. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Fouled off. Is it going to be playable? Over on the right side. And he catches it right in the Astros bullpen. Correa fouls out. Couldn't have been any closer than that. 2 up and 2 down, and it comes down to Jose Altuve in the bottom of the 9th. Be Altuve. That's what I want to be in my life. I want to be Altuve. Be Tuve. Three strikeouts and 1 home run today for Altuve, and now an opportunity to do something big. He hits this hard to left field. Is it going to get down? No. Just foul by about 8 feet or so. He got around on it. Yes, the 2 little guys. You're right, Alan. That's an interesting point. The 2 little guys come to mind for the Astros if you ask who best represents the franchise. Here's the pitch. Altuve pops that one up to left field. It should be an easy play. 3rd out, and that's it. We're going to have extras. All right, guys, I'm going to take a little break, and I'm going to stand up and go stretch my legs, grab a drink, and I'll be back in just a moment. And it looks like we're going to have extra innings starting in just a couple of minutes. 7 hits for the Orioles, 8 for the Astros, no errors. 4-4. And those of you who said we're going to have extra innings, 14% of you said yes, we're going to have extra innings, and you were right. Be right back. Go Stros. All right, guys and gals, we're back. Looks like Steven Okert has got the call for the Astros. Here comes the first pitch. Swing and a miss. 82-mile-per-hour slider on the outside edge. Good toss. Let's see here. Oh and 1. Fouled off. Jackson Holiday at the plate with the 0-2 count. The customary extra innings runner on second base. That's Carlson. 0-2. Here comes the pitch. Come on, serve up some fried Okert. Low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Double play would be a little tricky with a guy on second base. I mean, it's possible, but a little hard. Can't do it with a ground ball. Swing and a miss. A little slight. It sounded like a slight foul tip. Holiday goes down. Strikeout for Okert on the first batter. Good toss. He was expecting a fastball, didn't get it. 1 up and 1 down. First pitch to Jordan Westberg. They say he went around. That's strike 1. Nice. 94 mile per hour fastball. 1 for 4 today with a single. Couple of strikeouts for Westberg. Here is the pitch in the dirt. 1-1 is the count. A line drive caught by Pena and a step on the base would be a nice double play, wouldn't it, Brendan? Unassisted double play. 1-1 pitch. Coming from Okert. Nope, he comes off the base. He comes off the mound. I'm still not right. He comes off the rubber. I'll get it right. 3rd time's the charm. Fakes a throw to second. Resets the pitch clock. 1-1 pitch to Westberg on the way. Swing and a miss. 86 mile per hour slider. Got him chasing. Astros could have already ended this game. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Another nasty slider low and inside. Back-to-back similar pitches. Back-to-back batters thinking that they were going to get like a fastball on that last pitch. And he surprised him with the slider. 2 strikeouts for Okert. Runner remains on second. Here is the first pitch to Gunnar Henderson. High and outside. Ball 1. Yeah, you're right, Mark. Astros have had some amazing second basemen. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. In the dirt. Gunnar has a 2-0 count. Fly out, ground out, strike out, tap out. Any out right now is fine for me. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Ooh, nice. 81 in the bottom of the zone. Beautiful slider. 2 balls and 1 strike. I think I have a little bit of hot water left. Yes, I do. I need some. Here comes the 2-1 pitch to Gunnar. Ooh, tries to serve him up on the outside edge, but he misses it by a few inches. That's 3 balls and 1 strike. Not really sure why the crowd is booing so heavily right now, but that was clearly outside the zone. Not sure what they're looking at. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. Outside, ball 4. Check swing, he did not go, and that's a walk. Runners on first and second. Runner on first is not so important. That third out is what's important. Adley Rutschman comes to the plate. 4 ground outs today. Astros infield wants to have a little meeting on the mound. Who's going in the bullpen? Dietrich Enns. Looks like it's going to be the pitcher for the Orioles. First pitch to Rutschman is on the way. Right in there, 81 miles an hour on the slider, strike one. Takes that one all the way. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. Unearned extra innings runner at second, and the walk at first base. Next pitch from Okert. A little high, ball one, and the count is even. Steel Viper says, I like Jeff Kent, but he was only with us for a couple of years. Here's a little question for those of you who like the Houston Oilers. 1-1 pitch on the way. This is hit hard to right field. Should be playable. It's right to Sanchez, and he puts it away. There we go. A little fried Okert served up in the 10th inning. Diaz, Walker, Urias with the opportunity to walk it off for the Astros. So we have a kind of a newer generation of Astros with the opportunity to walk it off this year. The old generation didn't get it done last inning. But Steel Viper, you mentioned Jeff Kent, who was with the team for a couple of years. And when I think about players who came in and played with Houston teams for a short time and kind of just came and went, I always think about Gary Brown. Do any of you remember Gary Brown? He was a running back for the Houston Oilers. I think if I remember correctly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but because I was a kid, but I believe that Lorenzo White had gotten injured, and he went out after several games, and Gary Brown basically came in and got around 1,000 yards in less than a season. I mean, it was just stellar the way he ran. The way he ran and played, I thought, holy freaking cow, this is our future running back. He's like the running back of the future. He was absolutely unstoppable, stellar. And they talked about how the reason that he wasn't making more of an impact and progress in the NFL was because of his weight, like not staying in shape. But he was absolutely freaking amazing in just a short amount of time. And then suddenly he just disappeared. He just disappeared. And I thought for sure that he was so much better than Lorenzo White. And Lorenzo White wasn't bad. Lorenzo White was a good, dependable back. I mean, he was. But Gary Brown came out just suddenly out of nowhere and was like, boom. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe how good he was. I loved watching him. But as soon as he came out, he was gone. Dietrich Enns is now on the mound. Altuve's on second base for the Astros. Yainer Diaz at the plate. Bottom of the 10th. Walk it off. Yes, sir. Let's do that. Let's absolutely do that. They're going to... Check this out, guys. They are going to put Diaz on and bring Walker up. They purposefully walk. They intentionally walk Yainer Diaz. Now we have runners on first and second. I guess they want the double play opportunity, and they bring up Christian Walker. How nice would it be for Walker to just crush it and put 3 runs on the board? That will teach them. We got a lefty. Dietrich Enns. I think I might have spelled his name wrong on the screen. Let me see. Yeah, it's I-E. I-E. First pitch to Walker on the way. It's low. Ball 1. Load up the bases. Why not? Load them up. Load up the bases. Altuve on second. Diaz on first. No outs. Here comes the pitch to Walker. 94 right in there. Strike 1. One ball, one strike. Here's the pitch. Another one right down the middle. 85 mile per hour changeup. Taken for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The crowd is booing right now. They're booing Walker for taking strike 2. A sac bunt would be nice, Mark. And they let him strike out. Do you remember what I said? I hope you guys remember what I said about rally killers. Christian Walker, one of the big 2 in the Astros lineup. Luckily, they walked the first one. Ramon Urias comes to the plate. Now, Sanchez is the next batter. What do you want to bet if they get 1 out here, or if he gets on base, then they'll bring in a left-handed pitcher. I'm sorry, a right-handed pitcher. 94. Swing and a miss, up and in. Daryl, you're right. And Mark, you're right. He should have bunted them over. 100% agree. But instead, we get the traditional strikeout. 0-1 is the count to Urias. Here's the pitch. Altuve's stealing third base. He's in there. Altuve! Altuve steals third base. Altuve's in at third. Surprisingly. Holy cow, they weren't ready for that. They were not expecting that. Look at that. Altuve shocking everybody, even the commentators. Runners on the corners. That was not a double steal, guys. That was a steal by Altuve. Now they're having a meeting on the mound to discuss what they're going to do. The count is 0-2 to Urias. And they're all looking towards the dugout. They're trying to figure out what they're doing here. Altuve is the man. Holy freaking cow. We got some options now. I wonder why. I guess that was not a called double steal. 0-2 is the count to Urias. On the corners. Here comes the pitch. He fouls that one off. Count remains 0-2. Daryl, if Altuve steals home and it's not a wild pitch, that would be absolutely amazing. Can you imagine? Maybe the pitcher is just not paying attention. He catches him sleeping. 0-2. Here's the pitch to Urias. Fouls it off again. 95 miles an hour right down the middle. Ed, you're right. I'm tired of seeing a runner on second with no outs and Christian Walker not bunting. I don't get it. Here's the pitch. Outside and high. 1-2. The changeup misses. Yesterday, Urias spoiled the no-hitter for his team. Can he now beat his team? Here's the pitch. Fouls it off again. 95 up and in. Is Ramon Urias the thorn in the side of his old team? We will find out in just a moment. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. 1-2 is the count. Here comes the pitch. Outside. Ball 2. 2-2. We're going to have to get another guy on before we can walk in a run. We've got runners on the corners right now. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Urias swings and misses. Strike 3. Low and inside on the changeup. Can't get the bat on it. So no thorn in the side of the former team today. It comes down to Jesus Sanchez. Unless, no, they've got Caratini. Since they got a lefty at the plate, they pull out Sanchez and they put in the Batman. How about that? It's all up to the Batman right now. Pitching coach is out on the mound to talk about this guy right here. This is the last bench guy for the Astros. I believe in you, Caratini. I always have. You are the Batman. The Batman. That's right, back there. The Batman. That's freaking right. Let's go, Batman. Runners on the corners in the bottom of the 10th. This game is tied 4-4. 2 outs. Victor Caratini at the plate facing Dietrich Enns. Switch hitter. Victor Caratini shaking himself into the batter's box. Bunt single that scores Altuve. Can you imagine that? Here's the first pitch. Caratini takes it inside. Woo, just barely misses. Yiner takes second base. Too bad he didn't do that earlier, but doesn't really matter right now, does it? 0-1. Oh, they did call that a strike. I thought they called that a ball. That's fouled off. Oh, they did call it a ball. They had it wrong. Now it's 1-1. What in the world is going on with these? The stats on the screen, they are messed up. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Astros are on their feet right here. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss right in the middle of the zone on the changeup. Man, we are down to the last strike. Darrow, error, hit. I don't care how they score. Let's just score. Come on, Caratini. Come on, Batman. Let's do it. He hits it up the middle. It's going to be caught by the second baseman, Holiday, and thrown to first base. And that's going to be it for the 10th inning. We go to the 11th. Astros get a guy over to third with Altuve stealing it. Altuve is actually able to get himself to third base. And the Astros can't even move him one base to home. Nothing doing. Nothing doing. A lot of drama in that inning and nothing to show for it. Absolutely nothing. You could boil that inning down to just Altuve stole third. That's all. That's all that happened. All right. We go into the 11th inning. Steven Okert could be still on the mound for the Astros. We'll see. Don't know yet. But we'll see. Probably not Chris Burke to right, kind of long, but long. Yeah. Time for more caffeine. I'm having some hot water right now, actually. Drinking so much coffee without anything on my stomach is not good. Starts to make me have a little bit of a headache or feel lightheaded. $520 riding on this game. The only thing that I have riding on this game is the money that I spend to do the live stream and the time that I spend. I mean, it does cost me money. It's not cheap. De Los Santos. De Los Santos is in the game for the Astros. I don't believe that I have. Did I get his picture? I don't think I made his picture. No, I didn't. Let's see if I can. I don't think I can make one quickly. Altuve is now out in the field. Pinch runner at second base for the Orioles, as is the extra innings custom. Altuve looks to be out in left field. De Los Santos on the mound for the Astros. The batter is Ryan Mountcastle. This is hit out to right field all the way out to the track. Trammell grabs it and throws it in. There's going to be a runner tagging to go to third. 1 out, runner on third. 1 pitch. And that's all it took. That's what the Astros could have done with Christian Walker. They could have bunted him over. They had Diaz and Altuve on base, and Walker could have just bunted them over, but instead they let him swing and strike out. That is the #1 biggest failure so far in extra innings for the Astros, is that decision. 1 out, runner on third. Beavers at the plate. He hits that one right at... Oh, look at that. That's a double play. No kidding. Line drive. Line drive straight to second base by Urias. He grabs it. He catches it, throws it over to third base. The runner was way off. Correa covers third, and that's a double play. How about that? Just like that. De Los Santos comes in and just pitches like 2 pitches, 3 pitches, and gets the out and the double play. How about that? The luck. Lady Luck smiles on the Astros in the 11th inning, in the top of the 11th. How about that? That runner was on his way home. He thought he was going to score, and he got caught off the base. How about that? Goodness gracious, what a defensive play. A little bit of luck, a little bit of good pitching, and a little bit of great D. You mix that together, and that's what creates luck. Two pitches, 3 outs. Talk about efficiency. Yes, that's right, Mark. That's absolutely right. Let's look at these numbers right quick. Okay, check this out. Where was that? De Los Santos. Innings pitched, 1. Hits, 0. Runs, 0. Earned runs, 0. Walks, 0. Strikeouts, 0. Home runs, 0. Pitches, 2. How many strikes? 2. Outs, 3. Absolutely crazy. Those are the kind of stats you like to see right there. You know that's going to help his stats out a lot. Urias is on second base for the Astros. I didn't have any time at all to make a picture for De Los Santos, but I'm definitely going to make one for him when I get finished with this game. Jeremy Pena at the plate with a runner on second, no outs. Bottom of the 11th. Is Dietrich still in the game? Umpire's trying to explain something to the Orioles pitchers right now. The pitching manager, pitching coach came out. What in the world is going on? I'm not sure exactly what they're complaining about right now. Oh, they're complaining about Urias being on base. And this pitch gets by. Urias trots over to third base on the very first pitch. How about that? Ball 1 to Jeremy Pena. That first pitch almost got Pena. Oh, looks like they're going to walk him. They're going to intentionally walk Pena, so he'll go to first base. They're not going to pitch to him. After the passed ball, they're going to put him on. And that brings up Trammell. The tram, baby. It's down to the tram. No outs, runners on the corners. Mark, I see what you're saying, but because of the pitcher spot, Urias is actually the pinch runner, not Caratini. Here's the pitch. This is bunted. It's bunted. He's going to go home. Is he safe in there? They say he's out. Are you kidding me? Trammell tries the bunt at home. They're going to take a look to see if they want to challenge it. It looks like they're not going to challenge it. The bunt was too hard. Man, he should have gone in head first. Was that a block at the plate? Oh, he was gunned out. He just tossed it with his glove. Goodness gracious. Now they bunt. They finally decide to bunt at the wrong time. The time that they should have bunted, they didn't. And then here they didn't need to bunt, and they did. 1 out, runners on first and second. Melton at the plate. He shows bunt. Now they're wanting to bunt? Are you kidding me? Now they're wanting to bunt. 0-1. He takes the strike. He shows bunt and then takes the strike. Runners on first and second with 1 out. Here comes the pitch from Dietrich. Again, he shows bunt and takes the strike. Are we going to bunt or just pretend to bunt? What are we doing here? 0-2 is the count to Jacob Melton. Either bunt the ball or don't bunt the ball, but don't pretend to bunt the ball and then take a strike. You better not be bunting now. Correa on deck. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Melton. Nope. Dietrich comes off and fakes a throw to second base. You know what, Jordan? I don't care if Walker's never bunted. I'd rather see him strike out trying to bunt than just strike out trying to hit in a situation like that. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Melton fouls it off. You know, with Pena on second base, we don't need a whole lot here. We just need a decent single. That's all. Just like what he hit earlier. Like a bad Disney movie. Most Disney movies are bad right now. I don't remember the last time I saw a good Disney movie. Here comes the 0-2. High, swing and a miss. Melton goes down with strikeout. We're down just like that. We had a guy on third base with no outs. Now we have guys on first and second with 2 outs. This is mismanagement at the highest level, but Carlos Correa comes to the plate. Opposite field hit. It's not going to take much. It's not going to take much. Four to 4 with 2 outs. Correa rips it down the third baseline, just foul. 0-1 is the count. The Astros had such great luck at the top of the 11th. But now the Orioles are having luck so far. But has it run out? Runners on first and second. 2 outs. 0-1. Here's the pitch to Correa. Swing and a miss. The bottom of the zone. All we need is a little South Korea magic. 0-2 is the count with 2 outs. Got plenty of space out there. They're playing deep. Here's the pitch. Tapped foul. Count remains 0-2. I wouldn't mind him taking it to the train track, Daryl. How many people do we have? Almost 200 people watching right now. Only 65 likes. Is that right? That can't be right. If you haven't liked the live stream, please do so now. We should be well over 100 on the likes. Only at 93? Come on, guys. Here's the pitch. Tap to the right side. That's going to be an easy bouncer for Holiday. He throws it over to first base. Again, the inning is ended with a bouncer to second base. How many ground outs to end the inning? The Astros shoot themselves in the foot. So they don't bunt when they should, and they bunt when they shouldn't. Let this be a lesson for Joe Espada. You know, one of the things that I can say about Joe Espada, and I heard something similar said on a podcast the other day, and I agree with completely, is that there's no other manager in the MLB right now that deserves more praise and more grief simultaneously than Joe Espada. And he gets it. I mean, he's praised for doing what he's done with what he has in the situations that he's been put in. But then he comes out and does some of the craziest stuff. He makes some of the worst decisions that put the Astros in such difficult positions. You've got guys on second. You've got a guy on second base, and you've got no outs. Why don't you bunt him over? And then you do get a guy on third base, and then you try to bunt. I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on. But when you got a guy on third base with no outs, you don't have to try to bunt to score him. Why aren't you swinging at that time? Why are you swinging when the guy's on second with no outs, but you're bunting when the guy's on third? I'm confused. Yeah, we're going for the outs, Jordan. That's right. Hey, Gregory, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for checking in. Enio de los Santos is back on the mound for the Astros. He only had 2 pitches last inning. Can he break that record this inning? Here's the pitch. It's impossible. Mayo bunts foul. See, that's what you're supposed to do. Runner on second base, you bunt him over. The Orioles finally have it figured out. Yeah, Mariners went down. The Submariners went down to the Mets. Astros just need to do their job here. Struggling just to get a win. Here's a pitch. Fouled off. He wasn't bunting there. That's interesting. They have him swing away on the second pitch, 0-2. The record for most innings, most extra innings played? I'm not sure. I'm sure it's in the 20s. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Line drive to Pena, but the runner doesn't come off second. I guess he learned his lesson from the last guy, so he doesn't get thrown out. No double play there. One out. Runner stays on second. Yeah, the Brewers have 14 straight wins. Some of the Astros podcasters are saying that they don't believe they're a good team, but how can you win 14 straight without being good? They think that they're a facade. How can you be a facade with 14 straight wins? Here comes the first pitch to Daniel Johnson. Outside and high. Ball 1. Well, Altuve hit one out today. Old dog. You're willing to do anything, right? 95, swing and a miss, up in the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike to Johnson. 1 out, runner on second. Here in the top of the 12th. 12 innings. It is almost 11:30 a.m. here. This game is stretching out. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Little high and outside. 2-1. Record is 26 innings. 24-26. Yeah, I knew it was 20-something. Just didn't know. 20 what? 20-something. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. 94 up and out of the zone. Nice looking fastball there. The count is even. 2-2. Might go watch a movie and come back. There's a really cool Japanese movie I want to see, but maybe I'll watch it tomorrow. Swing and a miss. Another fastball, 96 miles an hour, up and outside. I think he got the same chase 3 times in a row in that same spot on that fastball. Out number 2. Dumping trash lines of dumpsters at work. Hey, that's what the Astros are trying to do. Here's the pitch. 87 miles an hour right in there. Strike one. Nice changeup. Yeah, and you know what, Mark? You really won't see games like that anymore, I think, now that they put the runner on second base. 96 high. 1 ball, 1 strike. In Japan, there's a limit. They only have a couple of extra innings. If the game's still tied, it just ends in a tie. They don't do all that stuff. They don't do this, and they don't do the old school of just keep on playing. This is hit high in the air on the infield. Correa has it. No, Pena, I'm sorry. Out number 3. De Los Santos looking good through 2 innings. Well, 1 point. Yeah, that is 2 full innings for him. It just feels like 1 point something, right? De Los Santos looking good for the Astros. We're going to the bottom of the 12th. This is another opportunity, the 4th opportunity for the Astros to walk this game off. Frustrating, isn't it? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Mark. The way that they have the games played now with the... I mean, the pitch count makes it a little hairier, right? But, once the pitchers get used to it, it's not as big of a deal, but still it affects the game. But the main thing is having the runner on second base. It shortens the game time significantly. The extra innings, That's right. Jose Altuve back at the plate. But the question is, okay, guys, here's the question. Will Altuve bunt? Will Altuve... What in the world is going on? Here we go. There you go. Pick one. Will Altuve bunt? Yes, no, homer. These are your only choices. I wouldn't be surprised to see a first pitch homer, to be honest. But he also might... If the infield is in, I don't know. He might not bunt. But there's a high likelihood that he will bunt. But you never know. He might do that thing where he's like gonna... He's pretending to bunt, but then he just jacks it into the Crawford boxes. He's done that a lot. Altuve's a smart guy. I think he can figure it out. Let's go. I got my Altuve jersey on today. And they were just showing that homer earlier in the game from Altuve. This game's tied right now, but the Astros only need 1 run in this inning. And that will be it. This game will be over. Keegan Aiken is in the game for the Birds. Keegan Aiken. He's going to be Aiken after this inning, that's for sure. No, Diaz. Oh, they walked Altuve. Wow, they intentionally walked Altuve. So Correa is on second base, Altuve's on first base, and they go straight to Diaz. A wise move. Well done, Orioles, well done. 2 balls and no strikes. It might backfire, though. It's funny, earlier they walked Diaz to get to Walker. Now they walk Altuve to get to Diaz. Yiner, right side. No double play there. Luckily, he only had one throw. Altuve was too fast. No double play. It looks like he had a chance to go to second, though. He could have. I guess. Yeah, that's interesting. Altuve was quick to get to second, but it looks like he had time to get there. So we have runners on second and third. So that's like a successful bunt, right? I'm going to take a look at that again. Yeah, he did have time to go to second. I guess he wanted to make sure that they got at least one out, and he went to first base. Ramon Arias might be grounded into a double play. The throw is wild. The Astros win. Arias does it. I kid you not. It's Arias again. Ramon Arias comes through. He grounds into what should have been a double play, but the throw to first base was bad, and it goes through. The Astros score on an error. They walk it off 5-4. Once again, Ramon Urias comes through with the hit. He is truly the thorn in the side of his former team. How do you like that? He grounded into a routine double play. Here it is again. Look at this. From third to second. Holiday's throw. Terrible. Can't be caught at first base. The luck comes back to visit the Astros in the 12th inning. The bottom of the 12th. Correa scores. And the Astros win 5-4. How about that? Correa scores. Hater out there. Look at that. His arm looks fine. He can pitch. Did you see that? If he can use his hand to slap people on the back of the head and say good job, then he can pitch. Bring him out next game. Bring him out. Ramon Urias getting interviewed right now. Seems to be quite happy. I'm quite happy. That's for sure. All right. Try to lose and we win. That's right. Give them a ground ball. Give them a double play, right? Now, here's the crazy thing. Think about how sad this is for Jackson Holliday. Holliday he's the second baseman for the Orioles, right? He gets a ground ball at second base. He could have gone for the double play at second, but instead he went for the sure out at first base. So they only were able to get one out. Then on the next play, there's a double play ball. They throw it to Holliday at second base. And when he throws it to first, he makes a bad throw, and it costs them the game. But if you flip that, and he throws to second base on that first hit, and they do get the double play, then that next ground ball would have ended the inning. That's right. He made the wrong decision, and then a bad throw. And it cost them the game. Yeah, he hesitated. Jordan, you're right. But if you look at it, if you go back and look at it, the Astros just walked off this game because of Holliday. Now, it wasn't just the bad throw. It was also the setup for the bad throw, because he could have gone to second to get Altuve and tried for the double play. But instead, he was like, you know what? Let's just get the out at first. And that cost him. Yeah, Jay, let's not do that again. The Astros win Game 2 by the skin of their teeth. It doesn't get any closer than that. Losing on two bad plays, two bad decisions by the same player, one throwing error, and the Astros are able to win in the 12th inning. Just real quick, let's take a look at that scoring summary, and then we'll do a quick preview of tomorrow's game. Yeah, it was bad baseball. All around, it was bad baseball. I mean, there was a lot of good pitching, though. You know, Jay, you can say that. Bad offense. The offense was bad. But, you know, the pitching was actually quite good. Both sides. The pitching was not bad. I mean, 12 innings, 5-4. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I think the pitching on both sides was pretty good today. It was the hitting that wasn't good. Just 8 hits and 7 hits, 12 innings of ball. It was the hitting. The hitting was just so bad. Let's take a look at the scoring summary. The bottom of the second, Dubon singled, scored Smith. In the bottom of the fourth, Melton singled, scored Smith. In the bottom of the fourth again, Correa singled, scored Dubon. The Astros had a really great opportunity in the fourth with bases loaded, no outs. They were only able to get 2 runs. But at that time, it was 3-0. The very next inning, they gave it right back with a Carlson 2-run homer. The only 2 runs that Alexander would give up today. 3-2. Altuve homered in the bottom of the 7th to extend the lead again, 4-2. But then Holiday homered in the top of the 8th to tie it up 4-4. And then, of course, interestingly enough, Holiday ties it up with the homer and sends it into extra innings. But then because of Holiday, we get the error and we walk it off in the 12th inning with the failed double play attempt by the Orioles. A bad throw by none other than Mr. Holiday himself. The very guy who sent it into extra innings gives the game away to the Astros 5-4. And who did he give it up to? His former teammate, Ramon Urias. How do you like that? This game couldn't have ended more in a more funny way, or funnier way. Yeah, Sousa wasn't great. Yeah, I mean overall though, if you look at the pitching overall for 12 innings of work, the pitching wasn't bad. 5-4 for a 12-inning game. It's not bad overall. Sousa did give up the big hit, and Alexander gave up the big hit, but that was it. Those two-run home runs, that's it. That's all that the Orioles got the whole game. They didn't get anything else. All right, as you can see over here, we have another game tomorrow in this 3-game series. This game is in the wee hours of the morning. Let me back up here, and we'll do a preview and then take a look at some scores if there are any important scores. This game is going to start at 2:35 in the morning for me. I haven't scheduled it, but if you have subscribed, you should get a notification. If not, please turn your notifications on. Trevor Rogers is due on the mound for the Orioles tomorrow, and Hunter Brown. Let's hope that Hunter Brown gets his 11th win tomorrow, has a stellar game, and we destroy the Orioles. So yesterday's game, they destroyed us. Today's game was the epitome of mediocre. And then tomorrow's game, we should completely flip the script and turn it around. If you look at Rogers' stats right here for the Orioles, 5-2 with a 1.43 ERA. ERA is really nice. 1.43. 69.1 innings pitched with 41 hits and 60 strikeouts. 15 walks, 2 home runs. His stats look really good. Even though he hasn't pitched but about half as many innings as Hunter Brown, his stats look really good. We'll see if we can give him an unlucky day tomorrow. According to the matchup predictor, this should be the most difficult matchup for the Astros against the Orioles, but we know that's not true. That's already behind us. That was game 1. That was game 1. Now let's take a quick look at the scoreboard to see what's going on around the league, and then we're out of here. I am really, really hungry. This was a long game, a long live stream. 9, 10, 11, almost 4 hours. Getting close to 4 hours. Wow, the Yankees come back against the Cardinals. They're up 12-8 in the 9th. Let's see, anything else of significance? The Dodgers beating up on the Padres in the 5th. The A's and the Angels battling it out in the 2nd, 2-1. A's. Let's see here. The Blue Jays destroyed the Strangers 14-2. Look at that. Nuts. Let's see. Phillies lose to the Nationals. Red Sox are up on the Marlins. Oh no, they won. That game's over 7-5. Of course, the Mariners lost. We're back up by 1.5 games. For those of you who don't know, in the AL West in our division, because the Mariners lost today and the Astros did pull out this win, we are back up 1.5 games. If the Mets can give us another win tomorrow and we can win this series, we'll be up 2.5, and that will make me feel a little better. Brewers have just been on a tear. They beat the Reds 6-5. Let's see, anything else of note? Of course, the Tigers beat the Twins. They are up to 73 wins, and I think the Blue Jays, yeah, they are also at 73 wins. So the Astros have a little bit of work to do. One more win and we'll be at 70. Whether or not we're going to get the AL lead, that's to be determined. That's TBA. Or TBD, rather. But anyway, is Verlander on the mound for the Giants? Top of the 7th. Let's take a quick look. I'm interested in that. He mentioned Verlander. Let's see. Wow, Verlander has pitched 6 innings. You see it over here on the right side. 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Wow. Yeah, you're right. He is having a good game. That's right. Good for him. I'm glad to see him having a good game. I know he's been struggling. Yeah, Jordan, this is one of those games. It's a turnaround game. You can't lose so badly and then fight into extra innings and lose game 2 against a team like this. I know that the Orioles, some people might say they don't have anything to play for, but that's not true. They absolutely do have reasons to play. And they're showing that to the Astros right now. So the Astros need to be serious. Thank you again to everybody who viewed today, all of the likes, the live stream comments, the subscriptions, etc. I did get, I think, 1 super chat donation. If any of you are seeking, and oh, 1 member. I got also 1 new member. Thank you for joining. For any of you who are interested in helping out my channel and supporting the channel, your help is greatly appreciated. Even if you can only afford like $1 or $2 a month, you can actually join as a member. And I am doing a giveaway very soon when I get to 1,000 subscribers. So be looking for that. I am considering whether or not I should make that giveaway members only, or if I should make it, I think it's just going to be subscribers only. People who've been subscribed for a certain length of time. If you are a brand new subscriber, so basically if people come in and subscribe at the last minute and then enter the contest, they will not be eligible for the giveaway. So all of those of you who have been subscribed prior to the giveaway, you'll be eligible. So I recommend subscribing to the channel if you have not already. I'm going to send you some treats from Japan. And some consolation prizes will be just some postcards that I send from Japan. So anyway, Fox at Bat, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. And yep, every game, Daryl's right. Take it with a grain of salt. Yes, we gained a game for sure. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm looking through the live chat. The first 7 innings, I was watching the first game of the... Jordan, some of my subscribers have done that. Sometimes I see comments pop up, and they are on old videos, and people are commenting thinking that it's the live chat. It's not the live chat. These are old games, so maybe I should put a post in the community tab about that. Be careful that you're not joining an old game, that you're actually in the new live stream. The best way you can avoid that is to turn notifications on. That way whenever I go live, you get a message from YouTube that says I'm live, and if you click on that link, it'll take you to the latest live stream automatically. But that's it for today. We are done here. Thank you so much as always. I love you guys and gals. And almost a 4-hour live stream today. It was kind of a marathon, but the Astros pull it out, take game 2. 5-4 against the Orioles. Back for game 3 tomorrow. That'll be for me tonight, 2:35. And I hope all of you have a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for being here. Awesome. Just got a super chat from Steel Viper. Steel Viper, an amazing supporter. I'm going to say abso-smurfly wonderful. Maybe even I'll add on Smurfin' A. Thank you so much, Steel Viper, for that super chat. It is highly appreciated. And once again, every single cent, every single dollar that you guys donate to me is not only well received and appreciated, but you have no idea just how far it goes. the yen in Japan is actually quite weak, and getting that extra support actually goes quite a long way. So you could say it's kind of like saying for every dollar, it's like getting $1.50 in Japan because of the difference in the power between the dollar and the yen right now. So the donations really do help me a lot. I've got a lot of medicines to pay for and supplements, and I really do appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you once again to my members, my super chatters, my donators, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. Arigato gozaimasu, and I will see you tomorrow. Until then, all I have to say is, go Astros.